Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of Call of Cthulhu, Masks of Nyarlathotep. My name is Alex Zandarabitsky, and I will be your keeper of arcane lore for this game. You may just call me the Keeper. Tonight we continue our investigative horror adventure through the world of the Cthulhu mythos. I am joined, as always, by my wonderful friends here at Internet Remix. We have Split Guardian.
We're in danger.
This is true. We have the Atwis. There's a "the" in front of your name now, just so you know. I ran it by legal.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. As long as you did that. But also, God, I love having knowledge my character does, and it's so good.
Very true. We have Upgraded Moon, also known as Jordan, round these here hills. Oh God, who gave him the fucking ukulele again?
I have the ukulele now.
Sick.
God help our souls, but also that's really cool.
I tried to play the Call of Cthulhu theme, but
I
I
heard
heard it to
it.
myself 3 seconds ago.
I heard
I
it.
muted my mic. I was like, where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
Yeah, no, it sounded pretty good. We have the brother Brodingles Dingleberry.
Did everyone try the chicken? I thought the chicken was lovely.
The chicken was delicious. Thank you very much, bro.
I had the macaroni.
Oh God, who brought the potato salad?
That shit is different.
Bussin'.
We have the one and only Kristen Trzynski.
Hello.
And last, but certainly not least, joining us no longer as a special guest, but a full-time official cast member, we have Darby Cupid.
Yay! Hey everybody!
Hi.
Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome to the show, Darby, like in a full official capacity.
Yay! Awesome. Thank you all so much.
We're so happy to have you as an official part of this little family here for as long as Terrence stays alive and possibly beyond. Exactly.
Terrence shall live.
All right. I know everyone, we're all so stoked about this. It's so fantastic. But before we dive right back into our game, just a couple of things really quickly. Hey, those of you who are watching us live and those of you who are catching us on YouTube or on the VOD, wherever you're watching us, post the current reality that we call time. If you like what we're doing here and you want to support us, I'd just like to remind you that donating during the live show is not the only way you can support us. We have a coffee, so just check the links on our various social media pages, and if you want to throw a few bucks our way to, you know, support us, support the show, keep this whole calamitous train on its, well, I was gonna say tracks, but this thing's been derailing since day one, baby.
We got off the train a long time ago.
We've been off the train for so...
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, bro. It was funny.
In episode 9 of Path of Perdition.
God. All right. Well, yeah. So that out of the way. Thank you for joining us, and we're on episode 19. That's crazy, and we're really just hitting the tip of the iceberg here. So from the bottom of my heart, and speaking for everyone else here, thank you for joining us on this journey so far. There's a lot more in stock, but let us pick up where we left off. So last time on Masks of Nyarlathotep, the 1920s disaster gang, as it were, were still split amidst various investigative paths. Outside of London, we had Sunil, Sybil, and Kit off in the rural countryside village of Lesser Edale investigating werewolves, ? Whereupon they met the colorful locals, the general shop owners, the local vicar, the constable, all questioning the matters of the murders that transpired 3 months ago, and all signs point towards a ghastly beast. And also there was a castle on a hill nearby. I'm sure it's nothing. And back in London town, as it were, we had James O'Connell wrapping up his affair with the police after I will say objectively, my favorite term from the last episode was the 12-gauge amputation of his assailants, and decided to go traipse about to go catch up with his two friends, Mason Allen and Terrent Gainsborough. However, upon fleeing the grounds of the Penhew Foundation, Terrent and Mason quickly found themselves pursued by bigger than average assailants. And they were chased through the posh streets of Soho and in the surrounding environs and more upscale neighborhoods of London. Mason, very unfortunately, was clobbered over the head with a cudgel, knocked unconscious, and dragged into the shadows. Terrent sprinted through the streets, trying to evade his pursuers, managing to lose one of them. However, cornered in a dark alleyway, he managed to fire off a shot with his gun that the cultist dodged out of the way of, and Terrent ran back to the streets. An automobile came screeching down the street. 3 Egyptian women got out of the car and immediately killed the final man pursuing Terrent, and then ordered him at gunpoint to get in the car, where Mason and Terrent were taken to the basement cellar of some building and locked in cages, where in the far corner of the room, a shadowy figure, also imprisoned it would seem, questioned them of how they got here, what they have done, and what exactly they're looking to achieve here. Mason grew reasonably suspicious of this figure, and Terrent, catching on as well, decided to keep his cards close to his chest. The figure, visible only as a pair of dark hands curled around the bars of a cage, simply sighed and stated that the group were smart, and with the sickening sound of transformation, the male figure inside the shadowed cage transformed into that of a beautiful Egyptian woman who stepped out into the darkness, the kind of the dim light of the cellar, and staring down at Mason and Terrent, said that she thinks that they should talk and that they should be helping each other. But before we get back to that, let's go to James. So, hey, what can I say? I'm a master of teasing. So, James.
Master of masochism.
You, master of Oh, I like that. Thank you, Darby. I'm going to keep that. I am the master of masochism. So, James.
All right.
Yes. We left off on such an interesting note for you because you walked away with a feeling of success, and indeed, you whispered jubilantly to yourself, "Yeehaw," as you left the constable station to leave the more shadowy, unsavory environs of Whitechapel to return to your hotel to meet back up with Mason and Terrent. When you get back in, it's late. It's probably like around, I want to say around midnight by the time you get back to the hotel. The night clerk at the front desk, as you enter, pulls out just like a little note for you, hands it over, detailing that your friends that do travel out of London, Kit, Sunil, and your wife Sybil, had called, I should say, and since no one was at the hotel by the time they called, they left a message. Could somebody remind me explicitly what message the group left for James, and by extension in Mason and Terrent?
I think that was me, and it was specifically letting them know that the weather was bad, things in Lesser Edale were going to take longer than expected. We were going to get accommodations and spend the night, and we'd keep them updated. Yep.
So you get that note handed to you, James. A quick little update on the whereabouts and status of your 3 friends outside of London. What do you want to do?
In the note, sorry, did it say that to call back?
It did not.
But I will say that the concierge can probably provide. Did you leave the number to contact you back with the concierge or no?
Kit probably would have.
Okay,
if he did, he also would have specified that it's a private number. So
yeah, sure. So yeah, it was included. Yeah, so you're up to date on the fact that the only phone in Lesser Edale belongs to that of the local constable, but that you do have a means of contacting back to them should you so desire.
Yeah, so definitely probably don't call in the middle of the night.
It is. The hour is in fact late. Yes.
So okay, so Mason and Tarrant aren't back yet because
yeah, when you get up to like your rooms and you check around, like Mason and Tarrant are not back to the hotel yet.
And they were just going for a simple little, stoke out, maybe explore the library.
As far as you knew from your conversations with your group before you all kind of like parted ways to do your own thing, Mason and Taryn were just intending to Taryn was going to be inside the Penny Foundation library just looking through books, and Mason was going to be staking things out while he was doing that. But James, you know that like the Penny Foundation like closes at like 6 p.m. And even if they had decided to stay a little bit later just to keep eyes on the building, they are like way past due when they said that they were going to be leaving the Penhue Foundation.
All right, something happened. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's start simple. The cops didn't take my fucking shotgun, did they?
No, if you'll remember, they did specifically say that like, if you're going to carry a shotgun around London, it needs to be in a case. It can't be cocked over your arm. You have to have that thing closed out of sight. It's like, put it in your luggage if you have to, but like, you can't just have that thing slung out and about.
Okay, fair enough. Probably gonna empty out a suitcase that would fit it, stuff it in, and carry it with me.
We'll say, just so mechanical purposes, if it ever comes up, in order to fit your shotgun in a suitcase, it's a snub. It's like sawed off, I believe, or was it up close? I can't remember.
It was a
pump.
I
it's
believe,
pump.
like
So it's got some
action,
It's got some length to it. Okay, gotcha. So then it is not one of like the two. Is it a 2-shot or is it a?
I think it's got like 5.
Okay,
5 or 7.
It's not one of the shotguns that you like can like crack in half and like fold.
No,
so
you pump it into it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I was gonna say that if it was like one of the like the 2-barrel ones, it'll have to be folded and tucked away. But since it is a shot, like it is that's not how that works. You unpack one of Sybil's larger suitcases, because she undoubtedly has one of those, and you put it away.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you kind of just sling that by your side. So what do you want to do?
I'm actually gonna check one more thing before I leave our respective rooms.
Right.
Jordan, does Mason have his like knife on him?
From what Xander said, that I don't have any of my items now because
Well, you brought it with you,
but it was on you.
Yeah, it was on me.
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay. Never mind.
No.
So
on
I always
you.
keep that thing on me.
Yeah.
Oh, you always gotta keep that thing on you.
I keep that motherfucking thing on me.
All right. And it's fucking midnight, so all the stores are closed, presumably. So
Yeah.
All right. By hand, that works. Can do. Yeah, can do.
Yeah.
And he's gonna set out to the Penhue Foundation,
Cool.
keeping an eye on his back the whole time.
Yeah, and actually, this is James's first time going to the Penhue Foundation, isn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah, I mean, you know where it is, but so you make your way out of the hotel to central London and the dark, fog-laden streets. In the fog, moist and cold against your skin, smelling just so faintly foul, and definitely not healthy to breathe for an extended period of time, as history will later teach us. But yeah, you make your way into central London, just off of Devonshire Street, to make your way to the high Victorian building that is the Penhew Foundation. The streets here are, you know, it's very dark out and very not busy, but you pass by like a few like late night pubs and a couple of like restaurants that were more open to like later clientele, but mostly the atmosphere of the area right now is significantly reserved and very quiet and more than a little dark. Despite the street lamps that aid that along, the fog covers much of this region, thick and hazy. But you do pull up outside the front of the Penhew Foundation. You see, you know, there's the front entrance, the stairs lead up. You are aware of the fact that there is a rear entrance like around the back. What do you want to do?
All right. So for the foundation itself, I'm gonna go ahead and do a perimeter.
Yeah.
See if I can't first see if anything is off, and while I'm doing that, see if I can't find any noticeable leaving behinds.
Absolutely. And since you have friends who have been to the Penhew Foundation, who have seen a lot of it, that information has been relayed to you, so you know a lot about like kind of like the rough layout just inside the building, just from hearing your friends talk about their experience there. You know that the second floor has like the exhibition like museum room, the file like chambers, the examination like study rooms for like actually artifacts, where like the first floor has like the library, the various offices, that kind of thing. There are a few blind spots in your knowledge though. Walking around the back of the building, around like the back perimeter, there is a high iron fence that surrounds the Penhew Foundation. There is like a rear loading yard, and that has a double gate that is chained and padlocked. And that rear yard is like largely empty. You can see that there are like stairs that like lead down to what is probably like a door to the cellar beneath the Penhew Foundation. There are like the double doors of a service elevator, like a door to the actual building proper. Interestingly enough, you see that one of the two windows that is visible from the back of the property is shattered. It's a broken, dark, vacant hole.
I love knowing information that my character doesn't.
Which and which for my player's reference, I have included a little map on our Roll20 just for their reference of the space of the Penhew Foundation. I have courteously labeled all the rooms that they are aware of, so you can utilize that to your heart's content.
Okay. Let's see. I suppose
y'all can see the Penhew Foundation map that I've thrown up to you guys, right?
Yes.
Just making sure. Cool.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Just making sure. All right. So James,
I suppose one of the questions would be, it's like, would there be any sign of whether or not friends left?
Here's the interesting thing, because I know that you do have a high track skill. But here's the interesting thing about the track skill. It largely applies only to situations where there is going to be like visible signs of movement. Like and that usually requires soft ground or something in the area that would allow wet, muddy cobblestones in London. Unfortunately, muddy that trail out. However, what I'm going to allow you to do is make James roll a spot hidden check for a general awareness of any possible hidden details that might be pertinent here.
Okay.
The word of the day is pertinent, just so everyone knows.
Pertinent.
Yeah.
I'm using that luck.
Yeah, use those luck points, James. Hell yeah. Okay. So you'll bring that down to a success. Reminder that spending luck points does not allow you to check off succeeded skill checks. So if you do that, don't check those boxes. All right.
Box is already checked.
You can tell that so you can tell, James, that the window was shattered by something you can tell by the distinct lack of glass on in the rear yard itself is indicative that this window was broken from this side. Something shattered the window inwards to suggest that, something like that. Additionally, I'd say that you do see that there is a lot of foot traffic around the padlocked gate itself, and pretty fresh indications that there may have been like a truck that passed in through here. But unfortunately, beyond that, here's what I'll say is it would have to be an extreme difficulty track to follow the trail of your friends, given that there is little to no surfaces with which their feet would leave any marks of transit. Just unfortunately, it's a very hard. Yeah, it would be an extreme difficulty in that case.
No, that's good. That evidence is fairly good for me to kind of go off of for right now.
Mm-hmm.
With that very same idea, window smashed in. I'm gonna go off an inclination of relationship. James kind of thinks Mason did that.
I think that's a fair assumption to jump to.
At the same time, he's just like, yeah, fuck you, pen you. So a truck passed through. There's a lot of foot traffic around the padlock. Possibly. Let's see. Can I get in this fence without setting anything off? Is there anybody like patrolling?
I will say that with your successful spot hidden, you could kind of tell on your perimeter search that there is probably a some kind of security presence inside the building. You saw like a flashlight kind of in one of the windows, or just on your perimeter search, but nothing extensive, and you haven't seen anything outside here to suggest like this place is like rigged for alarms or anything. This padlock is particularly stout looking, but I mean, like, James, let's be honest, you've broken through much tougher things in the past.
All right. Fucking yeah, let's go for it. Is this suitcase like a harder one, or is it, soft fabric kind of thing? Because if it is, I'm just gonna take out the shotgun and
that is an excellent question. Let me just double check something very quickly. Where is the information on this padlock? Sorry, I just want to double check this. You ever just like see a thing in the book a long time ago and then like see it a million times and then you just can't find it? I have this is more so just like the strength score of what you'll need to break through this door. I'm trying to find it. The suitcase is enough that it's probably, I think I can go out on a limb here and say that Sybil Cordova of all people likes to keep the valuables and like it wants to, these are like hard, professional, like sturdy suitcases, because God forbid Sybil have anything happen to their contents. Let's see. Yes, good.
Maybe they've got like metal reinforced corners or something,
Oh yeah, definitely. Where is that?
Thank you, dear.
Where the hell?
I paid good money for those books.
Yes, you do. I swear to God, this is so infuriating that I have suddenly unable to find this extremely useful bit of information. Give me 1 second to search back through my notes. I apologize in advance. Where'st art thou? Okay. Okay. Found it. Thank you. Here's what I'll say. So it is. So there are 2 stout chains that the padlock is attached to, wrapped around here. Let us just say that to break through this, we'll qualify this as, unless you want to do a locksmith roll, which would be lockpicking it, this is going to be a strength roll. Now, I'm going to say that this lock has a strength of 200, which, now I believe that with the use of a tool like that, I'll give you a bonus die on a strength check made against the door. You'll have to forgive me because I seem to have forgotten how the strength value of an item comes into play when someone's trying to break it. So why don't you just roll me a strength roll with a bonus die?
Heard.
Give that bonus die, boy. Oh,
Ooh.
Unfortunate. Okay. You bring the suitcase. Do you want to? I'll always ask. Do you want to push the roll?
Not really.
Okay. Then if you don't want to put, that's okay. If you don't want to push the roll, you trying not to make too much commotion, firmly and quickly bring, using the suitcase as a kind of like as a bit of heft, it down onto the padlock. However, it does not seem to be giving. That said, if you could, the fence is not impossibly high either. It's you could, if you want to try and climb the fence, then you could certainly give that a go. Failing that, unless you want to try out a locksmith roll or shooting off this lock, which would be very noisy, unless you have any other plans you can think of, do you want to try anything else on this back door?
Let's go ahead and just give it a climb.
Sure.
And yeah.
Give it a climb.
Jesus
Damn.
Christ. Oh my God. Fucking 999.
Damn.
All right.
Unfortunate. The dice are really just saying no today.
Yeah, they are. Fuck. Okay. In that case, and this is just around the back. Let me look at the map real quick.
Yeah, no worries. Take your time. Let's strategize and think.
Yep.
Just desperately trying to find how hit points and inanimate objects work in Call of Cthulhu.
Right? It's not a hit points thing. It's just like,
God.
when it comes to like versus the strength of an inanimate object, I'm like, I forget how that works.
From what I can tell, it's like an opposed roll, considering the difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
So you would like set a difficulty that needs to be met and then have roll the strength.
Oh, but from both parties or just from one party?
Just from one party. So you set the difficulty of what it would take to break down the door, say it needs a hard success, and he would just have to
Right, okay. Yeah, given the strength of 200, usually when it comes to like making skill checks against like people, there are rules for that. Unless those rules are the same, which seems a little silly. I'm just double checking that actually.
Yeah, it seems like they're handled as opposed rolls.
Interesting.
I'm just in Stack Exchange. I'm having trouble finding it in the rulebook itself, but
no worries. It's all right. As James strategizes what to do here, it's quite all right.
Yeah, it's all good. Because I'm thinking about a council, and I'm thinking, really, I have very few options here other than to just waltz up to the fucking door, and be like, "Where are my friends?" And that probably wouldn't go over very well.
I mean, are there any like nearby businesses or something that you could ask around, see if you know
Yeah.
something happened, maybe?
That sounds
Because
good.
if a window's broken, a police report was probably made.
Xander, any bars, anything still open around?
By now you're probably getting close to 1 a.m., like pushing it. So I'm gonna say most things are closing by now, but there are a few pubs and stuff. And this neighborhood doesn't have a lot going on. This section is a little bit more administrative and residential and businesses that are quieter and more upscale. But you can probably find a pub or two to kind of give you a lead here if you want to try and do that.
Yeah. Take a look around, purvey the pub, see if maybe Mason and Tarrant got away with breaking a window and just went off to have a fucking drink in celebration.
Right. I was gonna ask you sorry, I forgot to ask this a moment ago. Did you want to try and push the climb roll or no?
I feel like that would probably end up worse, but you know what? I don't really have a whole lot of
Let me ask you this.
Anyway.
Yeah, do whatever you want. Let me ask you this though. How do you, because I have something in mind, but how would James push climbing over the fence?
Getting a better footing?
Okay, here's what I'll say, because I'm a big fan of failing forward mechanics. You push the roll. And if you fail this roll, you're going to take a minor amount of damage from a ill-gotten fall, and you will still get into the yard.
Oh, abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say, is that you'll still get, unless you get a critical fumble. If this is really bad,
impale myself on the fence.
Right? So I will allow you to go ahead and give me the climb roll again. You're pushing it. Okay, so that's a failure.
Okay.
So I will say that you will just take 1 point of damage. That's enough for any investigator, truly.
Yeah.
To kind of get like a running start, leap up, and with a lot of momentum and kind of like pushing off of one of the neighboring buildings for a little extra oomph. You get over the top of over the fence, but very quickly lose your footing, and you slip on kind of like the wet iron, and you free fall like 10 feet and then thud into the ground, like landing on like your left arm. You've taken much harder falls, but man, is that thing going to be sore for a while. It kind of goes dead briefly as like just the pain shoots through it. But luckily, I'll say, you're a soldier, you know how to take a fall. The thud is harsh, but it's not particularly loud.
Good.
But you feel pretty content in the knowledge that unless you can figure out, here's the consequences. You can no longer attempt to climb over the fence. You will have to find another way of either getting out of the building or getting over the fence, but you can no longer make climb checks, as it is too slippery for you to do.
Heard. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. We cool with that?
I can work with that. Yeah, I'm down with that.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so being over the fence, let's be real, guys. Immediate thought, dealing with various cult shit. We were stoking out the fucking Penhew Foundation just for this very reason. Pretty sure that they took our books. Where did every victim to the last cult we looked at go? The basement.
Yep.
Can you see where the basement is?
Point it out, chat.
They
Where's the basement?
They cannot see the basement, but it is there.
Can't see the basement.
No.
But
That's all right.
we're gonna go ahead and head to the basement.
Okay. Stalking along the side of the kind of like the left of the building, going down the stairs. Can you just really quick, for my sake, Split, roll a d6?
Okay.
Great. All right, good to know. Thank you for rolling that. All right.
You're welcome, buddy.
James, now in the rear yard of the Penhew Foundation, you slink off in the direction of the basement stairs. And we're going to leave James off for a moment to, I think now, jump back over to our friends in an interesting predicament. So, wherever Tarrant and Mason are, let's jump back to them. So, where we left off with you two. Mason, you're in a cage. Tarrant,
Nice.
you are also... Yes. Tarrant, you are also trapped, it would seem. And standing in front of you is a strikingly beautiful Egyptian woman who is just looking down at you with the most passive, slightly alluring smirk at the corner of her lips, smiling down in your direction as she finishes saying, I think we should get better acquainted and help each other.
How the fuck did you do that?
She gives this kind of light, coy little shrug and just says, oh, you know, I've learned a thing or two over time. What can I say? A woman has her secrets. But I have to say that I am particularly interested in the two of you. We have not yet been formally acquainted, but I am aware of you in more ways than one. How was the pork stew?
Mason scratches his head for a second. Did we actually have pork stew?
No,
at any
that never
point?
actually got made. But she says that, and then she smiles and just says, well, I can only assume that you must be the friends the Mr. O'Connell and his breathtaking wife mentioned wanting to cook for.
I'm debating whether or not to lie right now. Should we lie?
I'll say that I'm going to give you the final carryover from your psychology roll from earlier is she is saying all this not as an actual question. This is all just coy, and she knows exactly who you are and who you have connections with.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, she's doing that. She's being extremely playful.
Can I take this time to because I didn't actually check to see if this was the case. Is our cage actually locked? Can I just...
You kind of rattle the bars, but yes, your cage is locked.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we didn't just, sit here oh no, I'm trapped, while the door was unlocked.
God, there's an episode of... it was the 50th anniversary episode of Doctor Who, where, they're trapped in a dungeon cell for, hours trying to figure out how they escape, and then someone opens the door and is like, how did you get through? And it's it was unlocked. And they're like, God damn it. That would have been...
Fuck!
Yeah.
Interesting. But the woman smiles down at you and she says, sorry for the rude and I'll say rough manner of getting you here, though given the sort of company you're beginning to entangle yourself with, I will suppose that it is important to maintain appearances for all parties involved, just to make sure no unnecessary risks are taken in allowing this opportunity to present itself to you. But she sits almost like a fucking cat, just cross-legged, faintly arches her back and cocks her head in your direction at the both of you, and she says, where are my manners? I am Zahra Shafiq. I assume that you must be the one they call Mason Allen, and your academic friend here is Mr. Oh, forgive me, Professor Tarrant Gainsborough of Cambridge.
I'm a bit confused. You said keeping up appearances for all parties? Aren't you all just one team?
She smiles and turns her direction to you, Taryn, and says, well, given that you, by my understanding, were conscious for most of your transit here, it would seem that there's been a cover, hasn't there? I mean, after all, you didn't really shoot that man. But I told them to say that you did.
Someone got shot?
Oh, yes. One of the men pursuing you, in fact. Sorry it could not have happened sooner. I can only act as fast as I'm able to figure out these plans before they're enacted. But I did what I can, and at least the two of you are alive. For the time being. And hopefully you can stay alive. Because the world is much more interesting when we can be friends. No need for this to turn ugly. Your friends are safe, by the way. I don't have them. By my understanding, your friend, Mr. O'Connell, shot off one of the legs of a gentleman I set to intercept him, which is all right. I'll take 2 out of 3. Best chances and all. Yes.
What is the Blue Pyramid doing working with these men? I assume you're the woman who met Mr. O'Connell and Mrs. Cordova at the Blue Pyramid, yes?
That is correct, yes. I do keep a shop. I like to keep my ear to the ground. I am, after all, a priestess of the Brotherhood, alongside Gavigan. Which, much to your surprise, Mr. Gainsborough, I'm sorry to tell you that the Penny Foundation is not as innocent or even noble as you might have been led to believe. They are quite deeply entwined with certain matters, but it's of little concern to me personally. See, I want to know what you're doing here. I only know a small amount, very little. Something about your friend, that writer Jackson Elias? Is that correct? Oh.
Yeah.
I can see on your faces that is correct. Yes. So what are you doing here? Why are you getting on the bad side of Gavigan anyway? And before you once more hold your cards close to your chest, Professor, just know that I'm not trying to milk you for information to use against you. I'm trying to figure out how to best make our business relationship work.
Is she lying?
Make a psychology
Is that a
roll.
lie? Baba Booey. Oh.
Even on a basic success, you have no idea of reading her. She is extremely charismatic and coy and
Oh, wait a minute. That was I clicked persuade. It's a failure.
Oh, okay, cool. My bad.
Yeah.
Still,
So that's my bad. I was like,
Yeah.
what? Huh?
So, yeah, but she is extremely charismatic. She is a force to be reckoned with, and you can not get a read off of her. She is in complete control of the situation, and she wants you to feel that.
Can you remind me of her name again? I'm sorry.
Zara Shafiq.
Zara Shafiq, thank you. All right.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to think about what to do in this situation because I'm unsure about her. I guess I have another question that I wanted to ask a little bit before.
Yeah.
Do I get the feeling that she is like trapped in one way or another? Although she's a high priestess, is there like a possibility that she is like trapped in this game?
There is nothing to suggest that so far that you can pick up on yet.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing to suggest that yet.
Because I'm like, why else would she be wanting to help us? Maybe. Oh, fuck it.
What?
Why don't I ask? Or do you? What do you
I
want to
guess
do,
I'm
Dodie?
gonna ask, yes. Yeah. Why credit the killing of that man to me, Ms. Shafiq?
Well, because I cannot let those on Gavigan's side believe that I am attempting to usurp him, or attempting acts of subterfuge. And, I mean, truly, can you be offended that I pinned it on you? They're planning to kill you, after all. What more can their opinion of you change?
Fair enough.
Were you the
Yes.
ones that went through our house, our hotel rooms, and stole our shit?
Unfortunately, no. That was also Gavigan. I mean, you did
Okay, I
tell him
thought
you
so.
had some interesting artifacts and books. And while I admit I am curious to see them myself, that was the decision on his behalf. Most of the things you have encountered thus far have been the work of Gavigan. In fact, do you know who sold out your friend Jackson Elias to the Bloody Tongue in New York?
No.
Gavigan told them he was coming.
Mason just kind of chuckles to himself. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but everything that was of interest, we handed over to Gavigan before. The only thing you stole were possible heirlooms and just really interesting reads that Cordova would like to use.
Like I said, I
They
did not
stole
steal them.
worthless shit.
I didn't steal them. He stole them.
Is there a way that we could possibly get it back?
Oh, I'm sure there absolutely is a way for you to get them back. But of course, I mean, he is most likely keeping them with all of his other curiosities and exchanged goods beneath his quaint little foundation. That or he's already moved them to Miser House. Either way, I suppose you could get them back.
Let's get to the point, shall we? What is it that you want? And how do you want us to help you? I assume you wouldn't be keeping us alive unless we could help you in some way.
That is a very astute observation of you, Professor. Yes, that does seem to be the case. I have very little interest in your personal squabbles and quests for vengeance. Where I'm standing, if you want to avenge the murder of your friend by undoing and bringing low those who contributed towards it, then I'm not going to get in your way. I'm just happy to point you in the direction of an individual whomst I find more than unfit to be where he stands. Let me ask you this, Professor. You're a man of history, of knowledge. You've studied the ancient worlds. Indeed, you've even dabbled from time to time in matters of antiquity, I assume.
Yes.
Where I grew up in Egypt as a small girl, and before I became a part of the Brotherhood, as it were, the Brotherhood of the Black Pharaoh, as you can surmise by its names, has a deep root in my homeland. So you might imagine that I am more than a little disquieted by this pompous white Englishman asserting himself to be in charge of a brotherhood that, by all means, has no place being led by his sensibilities.
To be fair, colonization is that's a pretty big problem with Britain. No offense, Taryn. That's just kind of we fought a war about this a couple hundred years ago, and I'm sorry. I'll stop talking.
So this is about reclaiming what's yours.
I want Gavigan gone. You want Gavigan gone, and you want to find those little breadcrumb trails to lead you wherever you want to go next. Given that I see no reason for us to clash, given the situation you find yourself in, Terrent and Mr. Allen, there are many, many groups in this world to engage in beliefs and rituals not dissimilar to our own. You can't stop all of them, and you would die trying. So why waste your time chasing the big fish, as it were, and instead unseating the man who is more directly involved in the complications you have been so far encountering?
So why use us? Why not take out the man yourself?
Because I don't mind if you die.
You're clearly capable, whatever you are.
Don't worry, Mr. Gainsborough. I am human. But the reason I don't do it myself is the same reason I have accused you of murder.
So it's to
Despite...
put a target on our back
Oh,
and leave your slate clean.
oh, no, a minor bit of subterfuge just to make sure that Gavigan does not catch on to our potential arrangement here. No, the reason why is because, frankly speaking, Professor, I'm outnumbered. There are plenty of members in the Brotherhood here in England that are aligned with Gavigan. I make headway, picking up and converting a few of those who are cast aside, mostly women. What can you do? And I don't wish to expose the Brotherhood to falling apart by forcing my own hand. I'd rather find Gavigan dealt with through other means. And once the vacuum of power is there, as they say, rightfully step up and assert rulership. Now, all of that aside, I care very little whether or not you want to work with me or even want to believe me, but as a show of good faith, I will remind you of some very important things. The Pennu Foundation is a lot more than it seems. They keep many interesting things in that building, more interesting than the common might believe. So, do with that what you will. And I bet you're dying to know where the Brotherhood go when the rites are conducted. I know you spoke, or rather your friend spoke with that young girl, Yalisha Assam, the dancer at the club. She has been dealt with, but you lot want to know more. I can tell you where the rites are conducted, because after all, how could you possibly deal with Gavigan, a member of high society, in the middle of London? It would be a fool's errand to harm him here, but in his small little country manor out in Essex, where the Brotherhood goes, well, who knows what interesting information you might also dig up while you're there.
So you want us to stop the rites and stop Gavigan?
I want you to do whatever you want to do, as long as Gavigan is in the firing line.
Who's to say that we don't just tell them what you're up to? Who's to say that, you know, we don't turn them on you or let them catch on that you're up to something? Are you really here to help us? What's your ulterior motive?
I think I've explained in quite clear context, Mr. Allen, what my ulterior motive is.
Yeah, and who's to say that you're not going to kill us after we help you?
Who's to say that I won't? Indeed. I suppose who's to say that Gavigan won't still kill you either way? After all, he does wield the bigger clout, after all, the lion's share of the Brotherhood here. Indeed. I think that's the point. Who can rightly say which way this one will go? But given your choices, what are your alternatives, Mr. Allen? I would love to hear them. Fleeing England before you can dig up more answers? Possibly. Avoid some of the heat. But what would you gain by gaining my ire as well? I assure you, Mr. Allen, what you may have briefly glimpsed me capable of is exceptionally small compared to the rigorous pains and horrors I could expose you to if I so desired. So let's just say, why find out? I have no intention to harm you now, and even if I did desire to kill you after your usefulness was complete, well, you already suspect that, so you'll probably begin to formulate any number of counter ideas, ways to fool me even. Unlikely, but I would award such an attempt. Why, indeed.
Mason kind of can't help but like shake a bit. He's in the hot seat now. he's trying to hold it together, but not quite. And what comes after you rise to power? You continue as normal.
The Brotherhood will do as the Brotherhood has always done. But I have no quarrel with you.
I'm really debating whether or not to ask about the world ending, because that's what Jackson said. Should we ask about that? I'm consulting the council with new councilman Terrence Brainsborough.
I wouldn't right now. Reason being, sorry, I was thinking about this whole time. Sorry. I wouldn't right now. Reason being, she is technically to a certain extent letting you go free. If you bring up some BS right now about what like her bigger plans are, she might just be like, "Okay, well, you are more of a liability than I thought." You know?
Yeah.
Like you'd hold no cards right now, bud.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
No, it was a good question.
Yeah,
Yeah,
question.
no, it's a great question.
I just wanted to see if it was a good idea because I was unsure.
Zara kneels down in front of your cage, Mason, and just like reaches a hand through the bars and just puts a finger under your chin.
Oh, don't like that.
And she looks you in the eyes and she says, "So, why worry about that now, when you can instead worry about what you can do to immediately help yourself and your friends and be useful? So I'll let you know a little interesting detail. The Pennu Foundation, corrupt all the way through. Everyone who works there is part of the Brotherhood, especially that Weasley little secretary of Gaffigan's. Even so, after the lights have gone out and the doors are locked, there is only one night guard on duty at any given time. You have a very good opportunity to find some potentially useful information on this night or another of your choosing."
Mason kind of swallows and looks to Tarrant. Just kind of like with a confirmation look.
Tarrant just kind of gives a nod back to him and directs himself to Zara. "So if we do this, you will in some way be in our debt."
"No, Mr. Gainsborough. If you do this, we will be very, very much even."
You're part of the group who kidnapped us. I don't consider this even.
I saved you from a possibly more gruesome demise, stayed the hand of fate for the time being, and I'm going to allow you to leave this place unharassed. I'd certainly consider that a strong favor compared to what I could have done to the both of you if I wanted to.
Yeah, I don't
But you
think we're in a
didn't.
place to bargain.
You needed us. You took us alive. I was well on my way from running away.
She gives this like soft laugh, brings a finger to her mouth, says, "It's so adorable that you think I need you. No, I don't need you. Like I said, if you died attempting to interrupt Gaffigan, it makes no difference to me. I'll still bide my time, and it won't happen as quickly as I would like, but have no illusions of your usefulness, Professor. I don't need you. I'm extending this courtesy so as you do not have to lose your life needlessly."
Well, fuck it. What's the worst that could happen?
Indeed. Well, I'm glad we had this little chat, boys. Now, if you don't mind, the hour is rather late, and I am very tired. She starts like walk towards the stairs. I'm sure that one of my lackeys, as it were, will be particularly clumsy tonight. He just begins to walk up the ladder, up through the trapdoor in the ceiling, then closes it behind her. And you realize that mere, like, just slightly out of reach from you, like fingertip distance, when she was sitting, Mason had set a key down on the ground.
Shit! And Mason starts, like, unbuckling his belt to possibly, like...
Clever. Yeah.
Reach and snag it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or maybe... Do I still have my shoes?
Yeah, I still have your shoes.
Okay, yeah, this will be a lot easier with a shoe. Taryn... It just looks like Mason's getting undressed right now. he's getting undressed. He took off his belt. No. Takes off his shoe.
Mr. Allen, this is not the time.
Hold on. And I'm just gonna snag the key with my shoe.
Yeah, I mean, you snagged the key with your shoe pretty easily, all things considered.
I'm the greatest. And Mason, like, puts the key in the lock, flicks it, jiggles it a little bit to see if it, like, unlocks.
It does, in fact, unlock.
And Mason kind of, like, puts it... Wait a minute, I'm wearing suspenders. I don't need a fucking belt. Never mind, he doesn't have a belt. He puts his shoe back on, and then he unlocks Terrence's cage. Is that also open?
Oh! Hold on, my sound just went funky for a second. What the hell? Hold on. I think we're good. Hold on, wait. Holding only for the effect that if that's something that we have to end up cutting out, that's fine. All right, moving on. Cool. Yeah, you unlock your cage and start helping out Taryn as well. Let us, I think now, jump back over to James. We still got plenty of going on in the London crowd, while the Derbyshire crowd is very much asleep. Yeah, there it is.
Boys walking into the wrong clubhouse.
Yeah. All right. Give me 1 second, sir. All right, so back at the Penhew Foundation, James, you kind of go down those, like, stairs off to the side of the building, and they end at, like, a stout exterior door that most definitely sits below the ground level of the first floor.
I'm gonna go ahead and say, if I get caught now, I'm getting arrested anyway. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull the shotgun out of the suitcase because I have no more reason to hide it.
Very fair. Very fair.
Watching Atlas freak out. Okay. So I check the door. Simple. Is it locked? Probably is.
Let me double check. Hold on. Just for posterity, I don't want to ever give you an answer that's not true. It is actually not locked.
Oh, fuck.
Very stout and very thick, but it is not locked.
Okay. Let's go ahead and try to open this up quietly.
Yeah, for sure. Alrighty, so very carefully pushing open the door that leads to the basement of the Penhew Foundation. Looking inside is a large, spacious, but dark room. You can tell just based on the machinery that's in here. This is like a wide, like, furnace room that's down here. You can see, like, machinery. There is the, like, an extension of, like, the service elevator that runs through the building is down here immediately as you enter. And you can see, like at the far end, like, I assume that James has like a flashlight in like his coat.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Cool. So I assume you click that.
Give it a go. I need to see.
Let there be light.
Oh god, I'm immediately gonna take a sanity check.
Well, no, you don't take a sanity check yet. But no, shining it around here, there are, like electrical cables, cold water pipes, some kind of like pump-like mechanism that seems to be kind of like freaking out a little bit. There's like the faint smell of like mechanical smoke, like from something that's like malfunctioning. No risk of fire, but it sounds like there's like some smoke coming off of that like air pump that's built into this room as it's like struggling to actually pump air. But across the far end of the basement, there is another door.
Okay. Gonna go ahead and head my way down to that door, since like there's nothing really of interest, just a bunch of machinery and shit like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, nothing of any particular interest that you have seen thus far. Can you actually can you roll just a spot hidden for me?
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah.
It's like the word particular kind of stuck out to me. Let's see. Was that 15 luck points? I don't know. Is it worth it?
10. No, 9 actually. It would be 9 luck points.
9. Oh, 9. Fuck it. Why not?
Okay. You go through the door and it seems to be like a smaller like storage room. There are just shelves, there are crates, but like you're noticing something is like you're not seeing any other like means of accessing other rooms that might be down here. And so given that you kind of have the impression that, oh, this must be the entire basement. However, there are like cables from like the fuse box, there are water pipes and those kind of things that just kind of go directly through, like that pass through the wall. And there's like the boiler from the furnace room goes into a room that from what you've been noticing, like from the storage room that you're currently in, there seems to be, possibly based on the fact that like where these like pipes and wires are all being led to, some room on the like other side of like the north wall of this room. And indeed, with that knowledge, you think you see something behind one of the shelves.
Oh. So we're gonna be cautious here. We're gonna approach very cautiously. Well, let's go ahead and investigate.
Yeah, there is this door that has been obscured behind the shelves and crates on the north wall of this storage room.
So it don't have any kind of like seaway, keyhole, window,
Nope.
nothing.
Nope.
I don't have to push anything out of the way. It's just kind of there, hidden.
I mean, you'd have to like drag the shelf and the boxes out of the way, but it's like nothing that's like particularly arduous for a man of your stature. Like you are a strong guy.
Okay, and yeah. You know what? Fuck it. Let's go ahead and try to be as quiet as we can. Lift with your knees. Fucking move some of the shelving. So
Drag some of the shelving out of the way, revealing just the door that's set into the wall, wide enough to probably like wheel crates through if need be, but it's unlocked.
All right, I'm gonna put my ear to the door real quick. Do I hear anything on the other side, by chance?
Make a listen roll. No. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
You hear nothing.
No. All right. Very slowly, very carefully. Shotgun kind of held at the ready in another hand.
Exactly.
Just kind of
Creaks, the door slowly open. You are met by an inky blackness beyond that is pierced by your flashlight as you shine it. This is a rather wide, like long chamber that is there's well-maintained furniture, desks, chairs, tables, stacks of crates and boxes, an ornate chest, a bookcase, and an array of artwork hung about the walls. As you're kind of like shining your flashlight around, kind of like off to your left, you see that there's actually immediately like a light switch just on the left inside of the door.
Let's go ahead, flick that bitch.
Flick that bitch, the lights like flicker on, illuminating this room. Kind of unclick your flashlight. There are, like, you know, next to the desks, there's like a very comfortable looking study area with seating for like a few people for like maybe small meetings. There are like 2 boxes near the desk, and just other items just kind of like scattered around through the chamber.
Say that last bit one more time. It kind of cut out for me.
I just said there are like various items scattered through the chamber, like a lot of things to look at and interact with up close.
Let's fucking take a look around. We're gonna close the door behind us, but we're gonna take a look around. Fucking, you know, stake out if there's any places that we can be watched from, anything like that. But if not,
nothing you see. Although, interestingly, at the far north end of the room, there is in the ceiling what looked like to be the makings of a secret hatch, like as a means of getting in another way to possibly get in and out of here.
Okay.
So I will just kind of say, there's the desk, obviously, like all of like the paperwork that's kind of like scattered around. There's like artwork in here, tall wooden crates, small wooden crates, ornate chests, a bookcase, stuff on the bookcase.
Let's start with the paperwork. What particular like forms and whatnot? What am I looking at with these?
Yeah, so like you see that there is a like stout metal box that's like slightly open underneath the desk, which is where you see like the paperwork sticking out of. You kind of flip. It's like about like, you know, 2 feet by 2 feet, like only like a foot deep. Pulling it open, just containing a like various array of some paperwork. Various receipts for goods and services, including deliveries to some place called Henson Manufacturing up in Darby, for wood and coal, iron ingots, copper wiring, and an expensive cast iron safe. This is actually a handout, so allow me to show it to the stream. Let us go over. This is numero 6. And I will drop it to... It's been a while since we've had a handout. So, allow me to drop this here in the server. Server. All right, there's that. So, there's that. There's also a receipt from a company called Ferris and Sons of London for the 6-month hire of a truck, and a letter from a Mr. Puneet Chaudhary of Ropemakers Fields in Limehouse relating to the warehousing and shipment of sundry antiquities to Shanghai on board a ship called the Ivory Wind.
Huh. All right.
And also, and then underneath that pile of receipts, a business card's edge is wedged into one of the box's corners.
Fuck yeah, let's take a look at it.
The name on the business card is immediately familiar to you. It is a business card for One Empire Spices, the shop run by Zara Shafiq at 76 Wardour Street, Soho, London.
Of course it is. All right. Well, I don't really see much to steal here. Mostly just stuff I can keep in the noggin. Gonna go ahead and
yeah. That said, you are still like right next to the desk in here.
yeah. Let's rifle through the fucking thing.
Yeah. There is a drawer in here that contains a .32 revolver, as well as a box of bullets.
Fucking taking those.
A couple of what look to be, I mean, hey man, you've worked in some, you've done bootlegging, you've done some shit. Like there are a few false passports in here.
All right.
And there is a number of bundles of used 5 and 10 pound notes, totaling about 2,000 pounds, the equivalent of 10,000 American dollars.
My fucking money!
Okay.
Here's the thing. These people, pieces of shit. I'm just gonna take all that.
All right.
Oh Jesus. All right, so I have a new revolver. That's awesome.
So there's also like the artwork in the room, some crates, bookshelf.
Any of the artwork signed by our?
Oh, you want a closer look at the artwork?
Yeah.
Make a sanity roll.
Oh, fun. I love these. These always go so well for me.
James is gonna walk out of the store, go on a Picasso and drinking a 100-year-old bottle of wine.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, leaving the desk behind, you walk over to the little small gallery of art that consists of ancient icons, statues, and wall art on display. But these are all, all of them like the wall art are hung on masonry and stucco surfaces, screwed to the stone walls. But these are all mostly gruesome pieces of art. There are these look very, very old. Some are there's a dark winged thing, seemingly both leprous and scaly, a winged hulking beast with dragon-like tail and fang-ringed jaw. A group of prowling human-seeming beings whose eyes are far too big upon their disfigured faces. Many, and a painting that depicts many red-orange colored bursts of color or light that are gathering around a tall, dark humanoid who appear to be on fire. There are several.
Are these paintings named?
None of them have names or even authors on them. But all of these, grotesque bits of statuary, they look very old, although the actual academic date eludes you, obviously, James O'Connell. But one in particular catches your eye is a small statuette of a pharaoh-like figure whose face is obscured by a mass of intricately carved, squirming tentacles.
Fun. Okay.
There are some crates, an ornate chest, and a bookcase of interest still in this room.
Fucking, we're kind of gonna go one by one. Honestly, there's too much interesting shit.
Yeah.
Let's take a look in the crates if they're open.
The tall one or the small one?
Taller, small. Let's start small.
Sure.
Build our way up.
That one is stenciled Randolph Shipping Company, Port Darwin, Northern Territory, Dominion of Australia. Along with a curious symbol that seems to show a stylized deer head or some kind of winged creature, possibly. In smaller letters are the words "Personal to Mr. Randolph." These crates are not sealed, so you can easily open up the lid on it. Inside is a 16-inch high representation of a fat, dragon-like figure whose evil-looking head is fringed by tentacles. Which roll a sanity roll on that one too.
Oh, great. Ah, nice.
That grotesque image, a statue, only deducts a point of sanity from you.
Oh, thank fuck. Ew, gross. All right, well, that's something. Keeping that in the memory bank.
You see it inside. Do you want to like pick it up for like a closer look or no? Just leave it where it is.
Well, you've said it now. Here we go.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and pick it up.
Pick it up. I mean, you feel an odd tingle pass through your arm and torso, but nothing else.
Oh, I'm gonna put that down.
Okay, you put it back in the crate.
Yeah, that's not good.
Turning your attention to the tall crate now.
Yep.
Yeah. Of the other like several wooden crates are stacked around here, only the one you open and this tall one you're looking at now seem to actually have things in them. All the other ones are empty. This one is stenciled Ho Fang Import Export Import/Export. I mean, 15 Chaoyang Street in Shanghai, China. In both English and there are Chinese characters immediately under that. In smaller letters are the words "Attention, Honorable Ho Fang," and the lid looks like it can be easily pried off.
Let's fucking go for it. Yeah, go for it.
Inside is a corroded brass statue of a bulbous thing wearing an Asian rice hat. A snake pit of tentacles seem to be bursting forth from beneath the hat. It admittedly does send shivers down your spine, and the surface is cold and oily looking. And once more, for seeing this grotesque piece of statuary, one more sanity check.
Eventually, I'm just gonna get used to this fucking thing.
Right?
Ah.
That time you take 3 points of sanity damage.
Oh, great. You know, I probably shouldn't touch these things. So,
move on.
I think I'm gonna avoid that one. Yeah. You know, put the lids back on them as if nothing happened.
Sure. Ornate chest or bookcase next, James?
Ornate chest. Are you kidding me? I'm a treasure hunter. My books are probably there, but this is something I don't know about.
It is fashioned of carved sandalwood and inlaid with silver depictions of unwholesome creatures, which look like a bizarre cross between an ape and a lizard, and whose arms are unnaturally extended. Opening the box, inside are 2 ornate silver daggers.
I want them. Those are mine now.
Those are yours now. You want to go walk over to that bookcase?
Yeah, let's go walk over to that bookcase.
All right. Within this fine walnut bookcase are several glass-protected shelves of books and scrolls, as well as a small stone jar tucked away between the tomes. Volumes in German, French, Russian, Latin, and Spanish are recognizable. 2 seem to be in English, and various scrolls in here, about 15 in total, all very, very old.
So, let's read some of the shit that's in English. None of these are my books, right?
None of these are your books that you've noticed thus far.
Okay. So yeah, the things in English. Let's give them a look-see.
Yep. Sorry, 1 second.
Guys, I just got decked out as a personal fucking armory today.
Fucking right? Holy shit.
Yeah, silver
Like I
daggers.
got a shotgun strapped to my back.
A new
Steals
revolver.
all of the cult's weapons.
Dual daggers. Hey, good thing there's silver. Hey, about those not werewolves.
You got all the guns in London. This
Oh
one.
my god! Babe, you got silver daggers just in time for the werewolves!
Oh
I
my
got
god, they
two.
match!
One for you, one for me.
So,
It's so thoughtful!
James, a lot of the books on these shelves are seem to be mostly just like insane treaties. But you grab like one of the English books you look at mostly just seems to deal with like praising various outlandish gods or talking about the most abstruse theological questions, such as the correct season for contemplating discourse with strange hierarchies of power. But like the only other English book catches your eye. This one is like a quarto volume, looks to be bound in some kind of animal skin. It gives off a faint smell of sulfur. It is labeled The Book of Zyan, D-Z-Y-A-N, and it is written in English.
The Book of Zion. Let me give it a quick skim.
You get the idea that this is probably a mythos tome.
Taking it. God, I got so many things. I'm starting to.
You carried
Like,
a
I'm gonna have.
suitcase with you.
Yeah, I did bring a suitcase.
Very true. I will also say that even though you do not understand their contents, you do kind of just like looking at like the other books in the shelves can kind of sort out two other books on here that look distinctly different from like their counterparts just scattered around. You get the idea that even though you can't understand those other two, these other two books might also be mythos tomes.
Taking them, sticking
Two
them
more.
in the bag.
And
I really like how James O'Connell went from fucking blowing a dude's leg off to committing high fucking heists.
Mhm.
Like,
Hmm.
I was looking for my friends, but this is good too. Like,
Time for larceny.
He just kind of meanders into awesome that way.
And then yeah, there are the like 15 scrolls on the shelf as well. These seem to be written in like 3 are in Arabic, 4 in Latin, some medieval French, some like an old English one that looks like it's some kind of like poem, like giving praise to like an entity called the Lord of the Woods in that like very archaic English way. And then it's like there's about like 10 of those like that. The 15 of those. 10 of those. Yeah, I was right. 10 of those like those, and then the remaining 5 scrolls are all are written in what look to be like Greek, Egyptian, and like 3 in Arabic. You can't read them, but you get the idea that those are not poems. They seem to have some kind of occult significance.
you know, it would probably really piss them off to have these very significant scrolls just stolen directly out from under their nose. Man, this place should have more security.
Just arm on the shelf and just
Yeah.
doing fucking suitcase.
And then additionally, there is that small stone jar. I keep saying jar that's inside the bookcase.
Yeah, is there anything in that jar?
Open it up. It contains what you think at first is ash, but it's some kind of black-gray dust that looks like, but you have the distinct feeling that it is not just regular ash that is inside this jar.
Okay. Gonna... Fuck it. Rare minerals. That can go for a lot on the black market. Let's take that too. I have a suitcase.
Yeah.
It's full of books.
And then, like, lastly, just kind of like looking around the room in general, like, basically this like secret chamber seems to have like a bunch of things like, you know, there are like like boxes with like a 3-day supply of like food and water, candles and matches, changes of clothes, emergency supplies, as well as like other materials like chalk, candles, few vials of blood, like dried skin that you don't even want to guess where that skin came from, and so on. That kind of stuff is just kind of packed down here, but that seems to be the extent of what is down here.
Not now. This is a very tense situation and all. But you know, he's already shopping. He's picking up souvenirs. He might as well get like a little vial of blood for his wife.
Grab a little blood vial for your wife. Sure. Soup for your family.
Soup for your family.
Oh my god, my husband's so thoughtful.
All right. And then
You bring home the bacon and the blood vials.
I can't wait. I cannot wait for that phone call.
Sybil's off sleeping in like the fucking country, like werewolves, blissfully unaware of the fact that her husband is like being the best husband of Sybil Cordova that he could possibly be.
God. Okay, so I've seen, memorized, and stolen pretty much everything of value in this area, except for the statuettes and the art, of which it is taking every ounce of my fucking restraint not to slash and smash everything.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mason of the council is like, he's a colonizer, do it! Tear that shit down! Don't listen to reason!
And then last detail, real quick, that trap door in the ceiling I mentioned that they have better like eyes on it does seem to be some kind of like mechanized like lowering staircase machinery that is currently flush against the ceiling, though there is like a control like, you know, like a little like button that kind of is directly beneath it on one of those like industrial like cable boxes.
Huh. Okay. You said there was another door in the basement, right?
No.
No? This was it?
This was it.
And my friends aren't here. Now, the creepy basement is really where you would usually expect hostages to be held. But while we're here... Now, I don't hear any footsteps happening above me, correct?
By this time, you can hear what sounds like movement upstairs, but it's a single set of footprints, and you listen closely, kind of like moves, and then it's out of earshot again. If you had to guess, probably the night guard patrolling.
Pushing button.
It's not particularly loud. The mechanics activate and you just hear as the staircase lowers and the revealing some kind of like inset like small container that the lid opens out on, probably going back to the first floor.
Huh. All right. Well, I'd say let's go up.
Yeah, this actually opens up into a storage room. You actually step out of a sarcophagus.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. There are like boxes.
Even like James, as he's like climbing out of it, he's like, "Oh, this is perfect. This is clearly some interior design work here."
Yeah, there are boxes, crates, old furniture, rolled up rugs fill up this very dusty space. But you do see that this is actually the room where that you see a lot of glass on the floor and a potato lying on the ground.
Yeah!
James,
you got my message!
James, in true tracking form, you know, kneels down onto one knee, gently picks up the potato with like the tips of his fingers, looks it over for a moment and goes, "Yeah, that was Mason."
That's what it means.
I will say that unless you want to try sneaking out another way, there's enough discarded boxes in here that if you wanted to, you could probably make quick work of stacking some outside in the rear yard to climb over that fence with no difficulty.
I mean, yeah, I'm pocketing the potato. But
Nice.
yeah, no, went into the basement. No one was there. I haven't been in the Penhew Foundation.
Nope.
So I don't know where any of the offices are.
Nope.
If Penhew does have our book, well, I just stole 3 more to make up for it. So let's go ahead and stack up some boxes and get the fuck out of here.
Moving quietly, you hit the streets of London. Meanwhile, Tarrant and Mason, after getting unlocked from your cages, you find yourselves emerging from the basement into a sprawling but empty club with a predominantly Egyptian theme. And you find that the place is abandoned. This is the Blue Pyramid Club, and it looks like a door has been left open for you to leave.
Okay, I wanted to actually kind of look around that basement just a little bit more. And see if
Nothing
there
of
was
interest
anything-
down there.
Nothing of interest down here. Nothing
Seems
of
to-
interest here.
Nothing of interest here.
Okay. The Blue Pyramid. Can I look around the Blue Pyramid?
Yeah,
I-
there's
Go ahead,
nothing.
Doug.
There's
Yeah.
nothing really there.
Tarrant goes behind the bar real quick, takes a couple, like a whiskey and a vodka, and walks back around. I believe they owe us this. And as he starts walking towards the door.
You know, I'll never say no to
fucking love
that.
Tarrant.
Sure. Mason also like kind of stumbles because he
Yeah,
got clobbered.
I
like,
was about to say
severely.
it's probably about now when you hit the fresh air that the adrenaline fully loses its effect, and you really feel the effect of how hard you got your bell rung.
A little bit concussed, yeah. You all right, Mr. Allen?
Fuck. No,
Here, have one of these. He passes the
he takes the drink and just kind of like puts it to his head, just specifically where he got hit at. Okay, let's go back. Are we being followed?
I'm gonna say no. You are not being followed right now, and you make your way back to the hotel, where we're gonna go on a quick break. We'll come back. The two groups will reconvene, and then once morning comes, we'll see what's happening in little old Derbyshire. So don't go anywhere, friends. We will be right back with more Call of Cthulhu, Masks of Nyarlathotep. Stay tuned.
Stille Liebe von Elisarien. Wenn wir uns beide begegnen, so schaust du mich herzlich an, als wollt uns die Liebe sehnen, die Liebe, die alles kann, die über Schluchten und Gründe schimmernde Brüchen spannt und bös erklügelte Sünde aus unserem Leben verbannt. Die Lippen schwellen und zittern, als war ihnen alles bewusst. Ich glaube, es möchte gewittern vor lauter verhaltener Luft. Aus denen Augen lauert der sonnige Übermut, der hinter dem Wimper trauert, wie aschebedeckte Glut. Wenn wir uns einsam begehen, so schaust du mich herzlich an. Komm, lass uns die Liebe sehnen, die Liebe, die alles kann.
And welcome back to Call of Cthulhu, Masks of Nyarlathotep. So, before we truly close the book on London for the time being, James, you flee the Penhew Foundation, and Mason and Tarrant, you flee the Blue Pyramid Club. And I'm going to assume that both parties involved are going to just race back to the hotel?
Yeah.
Okay. If nothing else, on James, your side, even if you didn't find Mason and Tarrant, you gotta drop that shit off. Gotta.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Taryn might have to kind of like take Mason's arm around his shoulder, kind of walking back that way, because
Yeah.
Mason's pretty bonked on the head.
must have hurted.
For this poor boy is so concussed.
Or like secondary location would be Blue Pyramid. He could probably find them along the way.
I'll say actually that's once you guys get back to the hotel, like just like outside the hotel is when the two groups kind of like collide once more.
Perfect.
Word.
So James, from James, your perspective, you see Tarrant and a Mason who looks like he looks all right, but it looks like he got his fucking bell rung hard. A little disheveled. And from Mason and Tarrant, your perspective, you see an extremely smug James holding a bunch of shit. And then his face drops when he sees you guys.
Well,
Well,
Mr.
you look like
O'Connell,
you had a good night.
looks like you had a successful night.
It looks like y'all had a shitty one. Fuck. James makes his way over to help carry Mason. How's he looking? To James, like
A little bit of bleeding from the head.
Yeah, he looks like he got fucking clapped hard. So there's like blood trailing down like one side of his face. Nothing lethal. There's no like, but you can tell that this man is badly concussed. But he's powering through it. Got his bell rung hard, but is otherwise actually not at risk of like worsening at this given moment.
could I first aid him?
It has been over an hour since he got the wound. Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay. So he's gonna help Mason with Tarrant inside and just say, okay, what the fuck happened?
I threw a potato in a window and we got chased down.
That he did.
That potato that is sitting in your pocket, by the way.
James, as he's carrying Mason, goes, oh, you mean this potato?
Oh, fuck yeah. And Mason takes the potato. I'm gonna throw this into another window.
So I see you've been inside the Pinview Foundation.
Yes, yes, I have. Let's get back to the fucking room. I'll tell you all about it.
Oh.
I blew off a man's leg today.
That's interesting. I would love to hear the story. We're going to have to keep this man awake, so
let's go.
Make it very interesting.
I love that fucking James, like, I shot off a man's leg, and Terrence's response is like, yes, I was framed for murder. Like, let's go talk about it over a drink.
I was framed for murder today.
Excellent.
Come on, Mason. We'll get you half a glass of water.
Oh, fuck yeah. No. I need a whole glass. The half glass is what comes after.
Gotcha. I'll get you a whole glass, but come
I
on.
hate you. No, I just want to put this on the record. I hate you. I hate this joke.
No, you don't.
So for
I
the
love
sake
this
of
joke.
brevity, you guys, you catch each other up with everything that happened. So both of your parties are now aware of the information that the others know.
Zara's the shapeshifter.
Okay, not surprising.
Was very lovely, like you described. Not after the shifting.
Yeah. She already kind of knew not one to fuck with. The fact that she is a cult leader, not too surprising. On a side note, I went looking for you, and I found a lot of other shit instead. And James just kind of onto bed. Books, scrolls, the works.
Good Lord.
That's a lot of stuff.
How much money is that?
Hella.
I don't know, but I stole a lot of that too.
Oh, just looking at that, Terry, that's about 10,000. Sorry, no, that's about 1,000. No, wait, no. 2,000 British pounds. Sorry, thank you. I was confusing my numbers. 2,000 British pounds. About 10,000 in American dollars.
Oh.
Well, when the Pinview Foundation hits, Mr. O'Connell hits back.
they shouldn't have stole my wife's books.
Oh, speaking
Spent a
of,
lot
did
of
you happen
money
to
on that
find-
shit.
No, for sure. Did you happen to find any of our stuff?
Not in the basement. This was like a secret room thing.
Oh.
I was kind of hoping to find it in there, but I figured after I got out, might have been in one of the offices. The place was already guarded. I didn't really want to end up fucking it up when I've gotten this far. Pull out while you're ahead, you know? Plus, you two weren't fucking in there.
Yeah. Well, we were in the basement of the Blue Pyramid.
I should have fucking guessed.
And I mean, hey, if we want to go back into the Penny Foundation at any point, nobody but a single security guard stays there. So.
Oh, fuck, I shouldn't have left. No, I should have.
No, you definitely should have, because you were trying to find us in the first place.
I was trying to
which
find
I
you.
very much appreciate. You didn't find us, though, but that's okay. We found you.
I
Or
didn't
did we
find
find
you.
each other? I don't know. I'm so tired.
Man, just
It's quite all right.
you need to lie down for like a minute. Like,
If I lie down, I'll never get back up. Oh, here we go.
nah, you need to. You need to trust me. I've been through it. You need to lie down for a bit.
Ooh. Mason is now horizontal.
Oh, really quickly, Karen and Mason, I assume that, as I said, I assume you told, James everything that, like, happened? Like,
Yeah,
in
about
every-
Aztecs and everything, and Penny Foundation and their relationship with the Blue Pyramid. Yeah, I'd assume we all just exchange
sure.
information.
Which includes James, much to the troubling revelation as Tarrant and Mason put it, that according to Zara Shafiq, the dancer Yalisha Sam has been dealt with, whatever that means.
To be expected. But we're gonna have to make him pay for that.
Well, given catching each other up and having one hell of a long night, and obviously wanting to make sure Mason doesn't die in his sleep, y'all let the evening pass by and relax for at least as long as you're gonna be able to?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna pose something to you, Mr. Gainsborough. Whilst we're taking shifts, making sure Mason doesn't die, we got some books that we might be able to get through of deep significance.
It's a fine idea, Mr. O'Connell.
I will
Alright.
I will reveal, by the way, the books in question that you found. One is in English. One is in French, and the other is in Latin.
Can Gainsborough read French or Latin?
Well, I'll have to look at my character sheet. Just a moment. Let's take a look. All right, where do we see the...
Under the languages skill, it's a whole section. It looks like you only have English written down. I don't think you ever put points into knowing another language.
Okay.
But
I
like
thought we-
because you have
Yeah,
like
well.
well no because you speak English, that does mean like you have like an 80. You do have that means by default you have rudimentary knowledge of other Germanic and English languages.
Yeah.
But like unfortunately Latin and French are out of the window in that regard.
Yeah.
But I think that as a group that you guys would know that some of your companions do speak Latin. So
Cool.
yeah, at least that base is covered.
Yeah, and maybe we should swap hotels. Just because, you know, the whole stole a bunch of shit just now thing. And
What
didn't
if we
check if I were
go-
being followed afterwards.
What if we go to Derby Shore and just surprise the others? Just like,
Oh,
peekaboo, we're here. Bye-bye. You know what I'm saying? Hit him with the razzle dazzle. Surprise him. Then you can give Sybil one of those little daggers, and then we'll live happily ever after. The
Mason, there is no mechanical effect. I mean, sorry, Jordan, there is no mechanical effect for this, but I would like to express appreciation for role-playing concussed Mason.
Yeah.
So thank you on behalf of everybody.
He's out of it right now, man. He's just gone.
You know what, Mason? That's a fucking wonderful idea.
Mason had a wonderful idea. Mason 1, bloody tongue 0. Let's go.
James puts a hand on Mason's poor concussed shoulder. Mason has a lot of great ideas.
I have a lot of great ideas. Thank you, James O'Connell.
All right, let's get packed up. You can read anyone that you want on the way. I'll drive.
Sounds fantastic.
No. I'll drive.
I'm gonna drive. You need
no,
to sleep.
sir. You will
Kid has
not.
been teaching me how to drive, and god damn it, I'm getting
Alright.
good at it.
So you're gonna switch hotels. Good to know. All right, but the
Well,
night passes.
We're going to
Derbyshire, right?
Going straight.
Oh, it's gonna go up to fucking. So okay, let's see. So
packed all of our shit, and we're going.
act all of your shit. Okay.
Getting out of town.
Let me get those fucking travel times up. Travel. All right.
I think you guys would have to go by car just by the amount of everything you're bringing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trains exist, but I mean also yeah.
I know, but you know how obnoxious it is to carry
Yeah.
that much on the train.
Well, are you okay? So like, let's see. Are you trying to go to like Lesser Edale, the village where your friends are, or like Darby, like the town of Darby near close by? Well, sorry, there's Edale, which is the town nearest where your friends currently are, and then there's Darby, which is close to that too, and also, as just a quick reminder of the clues, where something connected to Gavigan is. Remind me where you're trying to go.
I think we should probably go to Darby. Just, unanticipated. If anyone were keeping tabs on where, Kitsunil and Sybil were all going, they didn't see where we went.
Okay, so then in that case, what I'm going to say is that driving to Darby is it's going to be a few hours, so you're going to get there like 4 or 5 in the morning. And what do you want to do when you arrive? I mean, obviously find accommodations for the night, I assume. And so you're just leaving London behind. Got it. Okay. Are
we being followed?
Mason, I'm gonna have you make a spot hidden check, and because you're concussed, give me a with a penalty die.
Fuck.
I think we could all probably make that.
Yeah.
That check, right?
Yeah, you could actually. Mason is just like, okay, Terrence, you get the idea that you're not being followed.
Cool.
All right. Okay, given that you guys are fleeing London, give me a moment to
Oh, we should call them to let them know that we're not gonna.
They're still definitely
gonna be
asleep
in
right now,
London.
just so you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, nah.
They sleeping.
They sleeping. Let's see. Sorry about this. Let me just give me just a minute to just double check my information.
Yeah. I'm afraid you're going to have to drive, Mr. O'Connell. The two of us have had, well, one nip too many, as it were.
Oh, just wanted to check as the council. Does Tarrant have any points in medicine?
Very little, like 20, I think. Let me take a look.
Let's see, I think he has base, if I remember.
30, yeah, 30 for first aid. Thank you.
Oh, medicine specifically.
Where's medicine?
Because it's too late.
Very
For,
bottom.
it's below languages.
It's 1.
Same.
Yeah, I was about to
Okay,
say,
that's based for medicine. Okay.
I had
Because I thought
Just
Taryn had
just
hired
wanted to
medicine.
check.
Sorry, I thought Taryn had hired medicine because I thought I saw Darby roll it at some point and saw like an 89 and was like, what? But no,
yeah.
he rolled an 89.
Yeah.
His
Uh-huh.
medicine's a 1. Yeah.
Can I just like try a medicine check right now?
I don't think you can self medicine.
Do you have points in medicine?
I have an singular point.
Can he just roll it for fun? The person that has to deal with it.
I don't think you can self medicine check. I could be wrong though.
Shit.
Okay.
I failed. That's
I
such
think I
a
sewed my hand to my head.
That's so busted. Got an
Okay.
85 versus a 1.
Alrighty.
use up
It
my-
doesn't
points.
specify that you can't.
Okay.
But I'll do some more research later.
Okay, well, so for that group, just so you're aware, you leave London behind, and you are traveling by road, not by train, right?
Yep.
Okay, then yes, you find yourself in the town of Derby, situated in the Midlands along the banks of the River Derwent. Very much an industrial town, even though it's like super dark and early when you get here. You can already tell that this is a place of manufacturing, particularly like automobiles, aircrafts, and like railway engineering. There are plenty of hotels to choose from. I have 2 named here. You want me to name them and you pick which one you like just at random which one you want to go with? All right, there's the Old Bell Hotel in the town center, and then there is the Georgian House Hotel.
Georgian house sounds cool.
What
It's
do
a
you
little
think,
less
Mason?
conspicuous.
Someone named George owns that place. Let's go. That's
All right.
Jordan.
Jordan, This is
Fine
like
logic, sir.
this was like a building that was. It looks like it was constructed and it's been around probably since like the mid 18th century. But it's quiet and it's comfortable, so you get holed up there. And great, yeah, you got a few hours until dawn. Do you want to catch some Z's amongst yourselves, or what do you want to do?
Will I be in a pickle if I go to sleep right now?
I'm not gonna make the concussion rules that deep.
Okay.
Okay, no, just
you
wanted to make
are
sure.
good to rest up. There are no like exhaustion mechanics in Call of Cthulhu, for not sleeping necessarily. Like I would probably impose penalty dice in certain areas, but I think if you have a concussion, it makes it not sleeping necessarily, but like staying awake,
Recover.
staying low key, like recovering. Yeah, exactly. Like your bell is rung, but like yeah, so you're fine to like rest and recuperate for the evening.
Hot patata, you got it.
And that applies to
I'm
two
gonna
of you as
sleep.
well. Like if you're taking shifts, making sure Mason's doing all right, there are no penalties for not getting X amount of sleep. I will just maybe, depending on the circumstances, ascribe penalty dice for like fatigue. But yeah, so you guys go with that?
I'm down with shifts, and then once we think, it would be possible, we'll give a phone call.
Great. What do you just in broad strokes? What do you think your phone call is?
Tell them we relocated. Considering this might go through a third party, probably not going to mention the part about blowing a dude's leg off and robbing Penhu. But just that we had, for circumstances, relocated to the town of Derby.
Got it. Good to know. Thank you. Alrighty. I think it is high time we do catch up with our friends in the village of Lesser Edale. Let's see. As the sun, rises over the hills and valleys of the English countryside, everything covered in a thick coating of like moisture, fresh mud on the ground from the rainstorm that just cascaded this region all day yesterday. Clouds still hang dark and heavy overhead, but so far it is little more than a light patter of rain, a small misting, one might say. And as everyone comes to from their rooms in the Laughing Horse Tavern, I should say, upon awaking, whoever is down first does get is told by Bill, the proprietor, that Constable Tumwell came on by and left a message from your friends, and relays exactly what James had just said. about all of that. But everyone is awake. There is breakfast is included with your room fee. So actually, you know, you get a full English tavern breakfast here. You know, you get the sausages, the blood pudding, the bacon, you know, a hearty English breakfast.
I want some pudding.
This place is great.
Why'd the music change?
I meant to do that.
I'm sorry, I have to consistently have Sunil comment when the music changes. It's just really funny to me. Sorry.
Also, chat, I'm sorry, but I need to call out Bro's bullshit for a second. Bro posted in our in-call, the constable is now in loose end, we must kill him. He knows too much.
Well, he kind of does, honestly.
Right. So.
Oh boy, is it one of those mornings where Sunil suggests murder?
Anyway.
This blood pudding's delicious.
Moving on away from the fourth wall.
Right.
So
they're in Derby.
They're in Derby. There were circumstances.
I love circumstances. They make me. Ooh, circumstantial.
Should we go check on them? I mean, we'd have to walk out and then either hitch a ride or whatever else to Derby.
Do we want? Okay, this begs the question. Do we want them to come to us? Do we want to go to them? What do we want to do? Is there anything else around here that we need to do now that can't necessarily wait? So those are all questions. I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about circumstances happening and everyone being out of London. And okay.
Well, there are a few more questions we can ask around for. I mean, if we could put our ear to the ground when it comes to, what was his name? Old Jed, maybe get some more information on him. There was, did we ever get information about, yes,
Dead
thank
wife.
you. You're wonderful.
You too. I want to know more about the Vane's dead wife. I also want to know more about that church. I want to know how long the vicar's actually been there.
He mentioned like 30 or so years. Yeah.
30 years he's been the vicar, but how long ago did you noticed the foundation of it, yes? You noticed that something happened to that building.
Yeah,
before.
like it burnt down or something.
Yeah. I want to know what happened and when to that building.
Well, I mean, he is an aficionado of local history. I'm sure he'd be much more welcome to receiving us during, reasonable hours of the day. Yeah.
Also, the three of us, we agree. The dog's not dead, yes?
Oh, absolutely not.
No body, not dead. Just saying.
Yeah.
Assuming it's even a dog.
Dog is very heavily in air quotes.
The canine adjacent thing. Fine. But either way, I don't know. Do any of you feel like a lovely tramp through the very damp countryside to look around? I mean, it's pretty scenic out here.
It looks great. I'd love to just frolic in the mud.
It is very scenic.
Freezing,
and also
frigid mud.
There are werewolves here, which is very interesting. Why did our friends move but werewolves, but our friends moved but werewolves, but our friends moved but werewolves?
All right.
It's the morning. We can take care of some conversation during the morning with the rest of Derbyshire. Not the rest of, a few people in Derbyshire. Then we could try to find our way back because we're going to have to walk a nice man brought us here. It's gonna be such a long.
All right. We will give them the opportunity if they so choose. They know exactly where we are, so we can stay here for a while, do what we need to do. If they show up, if they don't, well, you know.
Yeah.
Sunil, idle question, but do you happen to know anything about the hunting laws around here? Here being England.
Hunting laws. Right. Are you asking about firearms or just hunting in general? Yes.
I mean, hunting in general, it does relate to firearms.
Listen,
Kit does have his rifle case with him. He's not fucking leaving it back at the hotel. It was basically he's trying to figure out if, you know, him being like, oh, we're out in the country to do some hunting is like a reasonable enough excuse for him to fucking have it. So
okay. No, because I looked this up, but I don't remember what I found because I was looking for something else and the game laws just kind of like passed by. Let me see. History. Give me a second. 18th, 19th century, shooting became more popular, protects pheasants and shooters, gamekeepers, etc., etc. Poaching, formerly a royal sport, the extent it still is.
Are you also reading the game law Wikipedia page that I'm on too? Yeah, okay. Just clearing that we're on the same page. Because I
am so much.
We are literally on the same page. So
shooting on the largest place of Scotland is fashionable, but I need to know. Okay. Shooting of game birds, etc., 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 etc. Game birds are shot in different ways. Blah 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 blah.
I appreciate your
deer
commitment.
Stalking. Listen, I wanted to know because I wanted to look up the gun laws in general because Sunil has thoughts.
Well, in general, the gun laws are that like handgun, anything that's not a shotgun requires a license or a permit to carry, and then like shotguns are, you can get those as easy as like gardening tools because they're considered like hunting implements.
Well,
you know?
yeah. No, we were talking about that. And it's just like, basically what Sunil's gonna say is, your gun's fine. Also, Xander, I thought this, but I need to actually make sure with you that you know this. It would make complete sense for Sunil to actually have a gun license at this point, because I don't think he would have even bothered to try to learn how to shoot if he wasn't allowed to carry it.
Sure, I mean, he probably got one. It's been 4 years. It makes sense that he probably has one.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that like we were on the same page with that because
I figured
like
the same.
Yeah. Okay. So like when it comes to Kit's rifle, using the coded language of we're talking about hunting, Sunil's probably on level. Well, if you wanted to hunt, let's say some big game using something such as a shotgun, I don't think anyone would stop you.
Yeah, basically the gist I'm getting here is that it's like poaching is like, as long as you're not like poaching anything, you're in the clear and abiding by like local laws of like who owns the land, you know? And as long as you're not doing anything too egregious, you're probably allowed to just like hunt.
Yeah. Not to mention we're in like a big sort of like country-esque kind of level of thing.
English countryside. Like
exactly. So as long as no one really
to keep the hot fuzz theme going here, everyone and their mums here are packing, so like, you know, farmers and farmers' mums, so
farmers and farmers' mums.
Yeah,
thank you.
So
Just farmers mums.
No, it's a fantastic question. Thank you for asking me. I'm glad I got to dump that information somewhere. No. If you wanted to hunt, you could.
Thank you. It's just wanted to cover the bases, so to speak.
Yeah. Let me think about this. Before we leave, formally before we leave, because we have some people to speak to, would you like to get that view from over the... It was said to be a moor, right? That's me asking the DM. It was said to be a moor.
The hill is called Mam Tor. It's a big hill,
okay.
But yeah.
It just rhymes with moor.
It does rhyme with moor, yeah, exactly. No, Mam Tor is a large hill south of the village, southeast-ish, that is like a famous site as well.
I mean, Sure.
Did we want our sent friends to see it as well, or did we just ourselves just now? Asking.
I mean, we've got time either way. It is still pretty early in the morning. Sybil, do you have any walking shoes?
Yes, I brought walking shoes, please. I don't only go to cities. Sometimes we drive around the country. I have boots. Puts on 6 out
Great.
stubbornly away from the table and like kicks them very aggressively.
Amazing.
Move right feet away from the table, young lady.
Incredible.
You are young and you are a lady.
Just
Eats
checking.
blood sausage aggressively.
Well, early morning English countryside ramble it is then, I guess.
I
Let's do
love it. How much rambling are we looking to do here? In that, like, what amount of territory are we looking to cover in, like, a, let's just say, like, in broad strokes? What are we looking to do here?
We wanted to ask about dead wife. We also wanted to be like, hey, when did the church burn down? So, like,
As for countryside stuff, I think we're pretty much only gonna go to the top of Memtor and
sure.
nowhere else.
Sure, that's fine. Yeah, okay, so in summary, asking around... Lord Vane's wife, you know, she died a long time ago. Like, like when Lawrence and Eloise were extremely young. So it's one of those things that's like, which was like, Eloise is like 21 right now. So it's like, it's almost like 2 decades ago. She hasn't been around for a very long time. So it's one of those things that's like, because the Vanes are, they do come down every so often, but being like, you know, British nobility, land-owning lords, they don't tend to... Vampires, possibly, you know, werewolves, whatever.
No, I just meant they're landowning lords, they're vampires.
Oh, yes, exactly. They suck the taxes from the land. Anyway, because of these things, it's like one of those things where it's like, it's out of, like, the public perception, usually, like, the personal affairs of the Vane family. I mean, the general gist that you've already heard saying, you know, it's just like, oh, yeah, it's like they, you know, like, Lord Arthur Vane's, like, already in his 60s, and, the servants, like, live on site, and, like, she died so long ago that it's, like, most people here, it's like, oh, no idea. Like, they can't help you just because it, like, happened way too long ago. And it was, Lord Arthur Vane did, like, used to, like, travel pretty extensively, you know, between here and London, obviously being a member of the peerage, and, you know, the whole, like, you know, I forget the proper term for it, but, like, the, you know, like, the Parliament and Council of Lords and all that kind of thing. He, as, like, 3 months ago is actually when he solidified and stayed in Lesser Edale more often. Like, he made a big move kind of around the time the murders flared up as well. But, like, no one can necessarily tell you much about the wife because they don't know much about the wife.
Dogs.
So, werewolf royals.
Anyway, I have a theory, and I'm just gonna keep it to myself for now. I'm just gonna keep it to myself, and we're gonna talk about it later.
Okay.
We have a hike to go on.
We have a hike.
We have a hike to go.
Hike.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, what about the church?
Yeah, we wanted to stop by the church.
Yeah, sorry, let me double check my notes. Okay. At the church, let's see, it's still pretty early. When you come knocking at, I assume the vicarage again? Yeah, when you come knocking at the vicarage, you are greeted by an elderly lady, who says, "Oh, well, hello there. How can I help you?"
Oh, it's nice to meet you. Hello.
Miss Sarah Bright, I am the Reverend housekeeper.
Oh, Sunil Pandey, Sybil Cordova, Dr. Kit.
Kit.
His name is Dr. Sullivan.
Oh, well, pleasure to make your acquaintance. Are you looking for the vicar?
Not necessarily, though we did expect to see him here.
Well, he's in the church proper.
Oh, thank you very much.
Of course. Hey, is that all?
Just about, unless anyone else.
Yeah.
No.
No, thank you kindly.
Thank you kindly.
She nods and, well, all right then. Have a nice day. Closes the door. If you walk into the church, you see that Reverend Jeremy Stratton is in there, which when you guys enter, looks up, gives you like a small wave and goes, "Oh, hello there. Good to see you again. How did you find your accommodations for the evening?"
Oh, quite lovely, actually. We didn't know that breakfast came with the entire thing.
Wonderful. I'm very happy to hear that. Well, what may I do for you? He kind of like sits on one of the pews and just kind of like rests his hands on the bench and just goes, like, looks at you.
Sorry to trouble, actually, at all. We know it's rather early. But there was a couple things niggling in the back of my mind last night that I just had to ask you about.
Oh, well, go ahead. I'm all ears, as it were.
Well, first of all, while we were going to pay our respects last night over the graves behind the church, we ended up running into a certain groundkeeper. Very charming he was.
Yes, Jed is an interesting sort. He's one of those more rougher sort of countrymen. Rougher countrymen who. I'm glad you found him to be polite, though. That's wonderful to hear. Yes.
He's a man of give, a man of take. That's what I get.
Quite so.
Quite so. Not to pry into another man's business, but this pings into my brain. Just tell me if it's too private or whatever. I don't quite remember how. Has he been here for a while, or is he just? That might seem a little strange to
Jed,
ask.
he is a local. Yes, he lives in. He is born and raised in Lesser Edale, by my understanding. Yes, he's local to the region. A bit odd, but who isn't truly?
Who isn't? It's just such an interesting cadence he has. Just speaks very quickly, but still understandable. No, I had a secondary question. A lot more of this certain house of God, etc., etc. If I might ask.
Oh, by all means.
So I noticed outside that just a bit of wear and tear. Did something happen to the building at some point?
Well, yes, before my time. The old church in Lesser Edale, it was already a ruin before I became the Reverend. This church was constructed... actually, hold on. Retcon. Haha, retcon. I missed a note. It was, yes, actually. The old church burned down in 1906. This one was built after the fact.
20 years ago.
Yes.
19, but and you've been vicar here.
For about 30 years, yes. It was yes, it was a shame when the old church did burn down, but the community came together, and also a very generous donation from Lord Arthur Vane and his family helped the reconstruction of the edifice you see before you now.
Yeah, very kindly in such a tragedy.
Indeed.
Honestly, it does sound like a tragedy. I Was it natural causes like lightning, etc., etc.?
Natural causes, I'm afraid. Yes, Derbyshire and indeed most of the English countryside does see its fair share of storms. Unfortunately, it went up rather quickly on a particularly intense, stormy night.
Oh, that's. Again, sorry to pry so much. I've only been here for a day, and I already am just.
That's all right. Truly, it was unfortunate, but all things considered, for the best. It was an old, dilapidated building. It was in desperate need of repairs, and well, it had reached the point where the cost of the repairs were considerably greater than the cost of building a new church at that point. So it was divine providence, I guess you could say. Yes.
Divine providence.
The Lord giveth
moves
and the
in
Lord taketh
mysterious
away.
ways.
Precisely, my boy, precisely.
I see. Sorry, just thoughts coming and going. They just come. Yes, exactly that. If there was an audience here that might be hearing me, just fingers going back and forth towards the temples. We are in fact making the exact same movements, but I am not on camera, so.
Yeah.
No, So who was your predecessor, if you knew them at all?
I'm looking at the notes. I'm not seeing anything in the pages, but he gives you the name of the Reverend before him. Yeah.
Okay, I just need to ask if things are important.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. No, totally. Thank you for asking. Yeah, no, he regales you with like his predecessor, the previous Reverend of Vicar of Lesser Edale, as it were. Yeah.
All right. If I might for a second, just is there any sort of like a cross or anything just hanging somewhere?
Yeah, it's church. There's a big old fucking cross right at the back.
So Neil's like, excuse me for a second. May I go to?
Oh, yes, of course, by all means.
Walks up to it, does like the Father, Son, Holy Spirit like cross thing, and then goes, I'm gonna kill a werewolf, and I'm probably gonna kill some other. I just need.
You hear Reverend Stratton go, what was that?
Huh? No. Conversations between you and the Lord. Personal.
No.
I thought you said you didn't like gossip.
Right, well, so what brings you to the church today? Amazing.
Right. Reverend Stratton, you mentioned that you're particularly interested in the history of the surrounding region and so on and so forth. Are there any sort of standout things that a tourist should check out, so to speak?
Oh, well, I suppose if you're in the mood for a hike, you could ascend Mam Tor and even possibly take a look at Blue John Cavern. If the
Cavern.
Yes, I mean, as I mentioned before, Castle Plum, the home of the Vanes, takes its name from the French word le plomb, which means lead. The town used to have a predominant lead mine. There is a series of limestone caves at the opposite base of Mam Tor. There are mines there, and a series of breathtaking caves if you ever want to take a what I believe they call it spelunking, a few caverns of note. There are some natural chambers, one of which I believe is a working mine. That would be Bold Beef. And then there's also the Grand Crystallized Cavern, the Waterfall Cavern, Lord Mulgrave's Dining Room, a few and such like. Very beautiful. I don't get into much cave spelunking myself, given my age and damn hunch.
Who was Lord Mulgrave?
That is the interesting thing. I have no idea. The rumor as it goes is that it's called that because a Lord Mulgrave is said to have dined with and entertained a group of miners. Why his lordship did so? Lost to history, but I'm afraid I don't know the exact details of the Lord Mulgrave proper.
Thank you very much for your time. Kid sort of looks towards Sunil, as in like you done there, or?
Help me take him out, amen. And then he walks down.
What the hell is Sunil Pandey? A good Christian, apparently.
This man so much.
God. He's a wonderful human being.
He just traipses down, walks back over to Kid. All right, I again, sorry for intruding. Sorry. Thank you so much. I'm doing a thing with my fingers as though it's the wrapping up here motion, but you can't see me. So like, we're just gonna, thank you. Oh, so much. So much.
You are most welcome. Yes.
Yeah. It's
all right. Yeah.
Yeah. They disperse. So, do you guys want to hear my theory?
Does it have something to do with the mines, where nothing interesting or scary ever happens in mines?
Let's start off on our hike. Also, I veto any spelunking. I listen to the radio. No, thank you.
Wait, but I want to go spelunking!
I listen to the radio. No, thank you.
I appreciate your reference.
This is in Kansas. Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate your reference.
May I make a compromise? If we find a reason why we have to.
Depends.
Okay.
So say if there were a werewolf that were splunking and we had no choice but to splunk to get to the werewolf.
Or more specifically, or less specifically, I guess, if we had a legitimate reason to ever need to go spelunking, would you allow it?
I mean, yes, but I would like to put on the record that I would very much prefer to die on the surface of the earth. I would rather not.
No, that's perfectly.
I don't like going. Yeah.
That's
Understandable.
Like Sunil like pats his hand a little bit. Like, no, I know exactly where you're going with this. Like,
thank you.
That's fine. I will go spelunking.
As long as you don't go alone.
Yeah, as long as you don't go alone.
I won't go alone. Probably. Let's go.
Right. So, theories while we walk.
Absolutely. Share your theories if you'd like to talk about them.
All right. So it has nothing to do with the cave because we just found out about the cave. I did not anticipate the cave. So now I had to figure out how to add in the cave into this theory that's going on here. So for one, fire starts in a church around the same time that the wife goes missing/dies. Consider that. For two, natural causes. Nothing that's ever happened to us ever has been natural causes. I don't believe it. He might believe it. I don't believe it.
Why would I believe it?
Exactly. Two, the dog's not dead. We know that the dog's not dead.
We all know for certain that the dog is not dead. If there were, say, some sort of strange place that wrote whether or not a dog died in this show, the answer would be no.
God, they probably have like a tier list in the paper and everything.
All right. Let's bring it back.
Okay. So the dog's not dead. Dog's not dead. So we hear about the legend of this dog, right? The legend of this dog is that its master died. It was a squire. One of the squires lost his dog. And the dog was howling. Weeping, I would say, in dog sense. Weeping for a while. And people thought, oh, well, if you hear the dog weeping, because I'm not going to say howling. We're going to say weeping. Again, then things are probably going to go poorly. Yes, understandable. That's a thing that we all know. Yes?
Yes.
All right. We have a mysterious tower. A mysterious, not the mysterious tower with these wealthy people inside. Wife has died. Consider. Wife has died. Waylon. Anyway, let's also.
The wife
Let's add-
died like 20 years ago.
Like 20 years ago. Yes, yes. And then no. And then this man, he takes up residence 3 months ago when things start going awry. That's when he gets here. Yes?
That's when he started staying. That's when he stopped going back to London, from what I understand. Yes.
Yes. All right. They also gave a generous amount of money to the church that burned down. I don't know where that fits in yet, but I think it needs to be spoken about. I think it needs to be listed as
Okay.
a coincidence. You know, well, not necessarily a coincidence. It's just I lost my train of thought somewhere. I'm just gathering everything into one.
You're putting everything together.
I was going somewhere, and I don't remember where it was. The train has
Well,
left the station.
our friend, our man of the cloth, seems to also be friends with the werewolves, who also conveniently, gave a generous donation when the church burned down. Perhaps
Exactly.
it might be a little important to
I mean,
them.
that's kind of their responsibility as, the lords of the place, isn't it?
Yeah, you have to pay for all the people who you slaughter as a werewolf during the full moon, right? Balance it all out. I'm right.
That's ethics. So, also consider, Jed seems to know what's going on. According to me, I think he knows what's going on. The reason I'm saying this is because I do believe that he put those silver crosses on those graves. And we know how we don't know how werewolves work because we've never actually met a werewolf. We just know the idea of the lore behind werewolves.
Silver, for sure. No, he knows what's up.
Thank you.
Okay. And if he doesn't know, then he would know who did it. And from what I can tell, I can't really think of a way to get into his good graces to speak more. We are outsiders, after all.
Outsiders. Do you think? I wonder. All right. So we were thinking about speaking to some other residents at some point. We should probably reconvene before we do so, or not. But that's beside the point. I wonder if there's anybody that ever could speak to, that we might be able to actually get into the good graces of. But
We did buy a lot of spiced peaches, and we're very friendly people.
He seems to keep to himself, so I don't know how much people actually are connected to him. But there are people that he very clearly trusts more than them. Otherwise, we would have to find some sort of thing that he personally is interested in that we'd be able to speak to him about. That is another thing to put into the pin. Kit, not to be rude, can you write this down because I will forget?
Yep, got it.
Thank you very much. Right, so there was something else. There was something else entirely. It was very important. It was very important. It's gone on for a while.
I mean, what were we talking about? The natural disaster, the lightning, the caverns, the Lord Jed, Old Jed, Lord Vane.
People don't like talking about it. Some
House
people
of
have actually.
Lords,
It's also very
servants.
interesting that the vicar himself has actually seen the quote-unquote dog in question. It's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I mean, do you really think a gate would stop a large, violent animal like that? Or a door?
No.
Also,
Either he did see it and something odd is operating here that we don't understand, or he didn't.
Yeah. It's there's a
know.
lot, so many pieces. Where's the puzzle? Frustrating. It's like, do we, in this particular case, do you work from the outside and then work in, or do you just take what you have and set it on the table where you think it might go, and then slowly put the pieces together? I just. All right.
We'll know once we find a corner.
We'll know once we find a corner. I apologize. I just needed to somewhere. It's just knocking around all night.
You're good.
It's helpful. Anyway, I want to explore this glorious wilderness or
God's
whatever? I think that's a
yes.
thing. I think that's a thing where I think, from what I understand, that is a thing that we are supposed to do. So
Wonderful. All right, well, if you would like to, you may conduct a hike of Mamtor, which is about 1,700 feet above sea level. A large ditch has like surrounded the summit, probably the remains like an old fort from a bygone age. Like there are remains of gateways and like the foundations of circular huts that once would have compromised living quarters and other buildings of like a village that is lost to time. At its pinnacle, Mamtor provides a breathtaking view of Derbyshire and the surrounding countryside. There are also 2 Bronze Age burial mounds here at the peak. Probably believed by some to be around 3,500 years old. Yeah, very interesting, but a lovely hike, breathtaking views, and a nice serene experience. Do you also want to go check out the caves or not? Not now.
I believe the request was not the case.
I mean, we can take a look, but I really don't want to go inside. If I don't have to.
Sybil? Sybil.
I want to see the caves.
Sybil?
I want to see the caves.
No,
I
no,
wanna see
no.
the caves.
Sybil. Sybil. Promise me you are not going inside.
I won't go inside.
I'm being 100% serious with you
I
right now.
promise I will not go inside.
I mean, as long as you two go together, it's fine. I'll just wait at the entrance or something.
Well, I guess we're not going inside because I don't want to go inside just us 2 of us. We're small.
I have a gun.
I also have a gun.
We have
We're
guns.
small.
We have guns. We'll be
Can't
fine.
just go shooting willy-nilly in a cave. Anyway, we're going to the cave.
Let's go check out the cave.
We'll go check out the caves.
Yeah, at the base of Mamtor on the opposite side of Lesser Edale, there is the Blue John Cavern, which is a complex of like limestone caves, one of which is an active and Sunil, you would know that Blue John is actually an English term for like fluorite, and it's like yeah, it is a particular crystal blend that actually is found nowhere else in the world. Yeah, it's mined for like jewelry and decorative items. There is an active mine here, so there are like miners and like supply sheds out and about, kind of moving through the place. Yeah.
So this is gonna sound weird, but he kind of wants to take like any rocks on the like a couple rocks on the ground if possible. Just
Sure.
put 'em
Yeah.
in-
Take a couple of rocks, put them in your pocket. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta.
You got it.
Gotta.
You got
Yeah, this is what you gotta do.
Did we want to speak to any of the workers? We come to peruse.
I mean, if they're working. Ugh.
I think. So because I was busy and also Sunil was busy, I don't fully remember what you said about this area.
There are caverns here. I mean, like, and there are miners that are active here. I mean, it's kind of really all you heard.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
So all the specific like cave names that he mentioned, they're all part of that Blue John Cavern system, correct?
Yeah, caverns. There's like 6 caverns thereabouts that are, you know, like the Blue John Caverns are the collective term for all of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's pretty active. I'm sure if you find a foreman or something and get permission to look around, it seems safe enough.
Yes.
Alright. Let's go looking for the foreman, I guess.
Sybil of all people, do you want to give me a charm roll?
Gosh, I mean, if I have to.
Yeah, who would have fucking thunk? Sybil, you are able to definitely convince some miners to show them around in like the safe areas, the caverns, like away from like where the active mines are. Yeah, because like Bull Beef is like a working mine, but like the other places are actually open. There's like the Grand Crystallized Cavern, which is, you know, like a big dome chamber. Full of like, you know, crystal formations. Waterfall Cavern houses an unusual formation of stalactites that look like a frozen waterfall. Yeah, and like the Lord Mulgrave's dining room is just like a big circular shaped chamber. Yeah, it's just there are it is a distracting but fascinating experience. And it is certainly an interesting look into just an underground cave system. Just kill a few hours that way. Yeah.
We saw some pretty rocks.
We saw some pretty rocks. I was hoping I would encounter more things than just rocks.
Well, were the rocks worth it? Says Kit, who's been waiting outside for a few hours now.
They were very pretty rocks.
It was like an hour at most, I'd say. Like it's they show you around. They don't like take you too deep in. But yeah. Yeah, pretty rocks. So with your little nature hike completed, what would you like to do?
All right, so I think we've gotten to the point where we have to figure out how to walk to Derby.
I wanted to ask the miners if they've, like, you know, ever encountered any strange beasts out in these parts or anything like that.
You would hear from them,
something
like,
along those lines.
Yeah, you would hear from them, like, that none of them have, like, encountered the strange beast, but they share that same, like, local folklore knowledge of, like, oh yeah, like the beast of Edale, the same story that, like, Jeremy Stratton, like, relayed of, yeah, like, there's, like, you know, and then, like, if you hear a howl during the nights of the full moon, it's an omen of death, but none of them have actually, like, encountered it, and most of them regard it as, like, a folk tale. What else? You do hear that there was, like, you know, it's like I say, just asking in general, like, one of them just brings it very lightly. It's like, oh, they heard, like, about like, you know, there's like a witch trial in this region, like, back in, like, the early 17th century, you know. It's like, but they don't know much about that. It's just like they heard that down through the grapevine, you know. So little details like that.
Sweet.
But yeah. So I'd say you're kicking it close to noon-ish by now, you know. Which, as a reminder, since you know your friends are in the town of Derby, which, by the way, it is not lost on me the weirdness of saying your friends are in Derby.
Yeah.
I have to say it again though. Like
I did have to say it.
Buenos dias, Derby.
Oh. I see that you are in me.
I'm leaving this call. I'm leaving Call of Cthulhu. Darby has
Someone
my face
turned
now.
no clip on.
You don't have to change the intro anymore. Just change my name to Darby's name.
Well, anyway. Yeah, as a reminder, it is a 5-mile walk to get from Lesser Edale to Edale. There you can probably grab a quick train ride over to Derby to reconvene with your friends if you'd like. So it's not the worst hike. It's only 5 miles. Yeah.
I'm like, that's see, that's not, I'm like, it would not seem like whatever to Sybil, but to me, I'm just like, oh, 5 miles, whatever, man.
Like, I'm also just like, oh, 5 miles?
Whatever.
Yeah. If there's nothing else you want to do in Lesser Edale for the time being, you can easily just hike it over to Edale, grab a train, meet your friends in Derby.
I think we'll do that, but I think probably mention we'll be back.
Sybil shouts to the hills of Derbyshire.
I am coming back for you, werewolves.
Echoes into the distance.
Right.
The werewolves are now prepared.
Let's go check out and head out.
It's like, I'm coming for you, werewolves! All right, let's go to Edale. You cannot fast travel when enemies are nearby.
What?
Wonderful. All right, well, taking the time to make it to the town of Derbyshire, you find your way to the hotel that your friends have fled London to, whereupon you all reconvene. I assume you all exchange information and vials of blood and mythos tomes.
Why are you all here and not there?
We got kidnapped.
What?
A bit of
There were
a
a set of circumstances.
Circumstances? How circumstantial?
Okay. All right. So, cults made an advance.
Okay.
Got about 2 out of the 3 of us in total.
Oh.
Tell him what you did, James. Tell him what you did to the fucking guy. Tell him what you did.
blew a guy's leg off.
You see Kit just wince. Oh god.
Kit, you don't need to make any check to recognize the fact that Mason Allen is a concussed man right now. He definitely, even this now you can tell that
Piers does like the whole follow my finger test, you know.
Mason's eyes don't even move.
slide whistle sound as they go in different directions. No, I'm kidding.
While you catch up, I'm gonna. Oh my god, Mason, what happened?
I'm down to 5 hit points.
Kit would like to make a medicine check to administer.
It's within 24 hours. Yeah, it's within 24 hours. Go ahead and roll a medicine
Dr.
check.
Sullivan, sir. Mason like salutes and like tilts his head down for you to
Wow! Incredible. I'm gonna use some luck points on that.
Okay.
Cool.
I'm not in the roll 20.
Kid just punches.
Kid rolled a 99.
Did Kid actually roll a 90?
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
I was about to fucking say, I'm sorry. No, like, we've been doing this whole time because I remember Sunil always follows Kit when he does a medicine check, just in case it's the 1%.
God.
Would you allow him to have a bonus die if Sunil is helping, or?
I'll say a bonus die, sure.
Yeet.
Thank you, Sunil.
Yeet.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh.
Nice.
So.
Okay, so this doesn't.
He gets if it was because it was within 24 hours, he gets 1d3 hit points
All right,
back.
so Mason, roll a d3.
Oh yeah, baby. /RD3. It's gonna be a 1. And I was wrong.
Hell yeah. So you can also uncheck the major wound box because you are now back over half of your hit point max, which means you will now regain 1 hit point per day again.
Hell yeah,
So you
baby.
will-
Mason Allen's back in action. They fucked up this time.
Incredible. Right on. Well, so as you are catching your group up and explain the circumstances of the night, any particular points you want to bring up in particular with one another?
Gavigan's
told
trying
God I
to
was-
colonize the bloody tongue.
Oh, I told God I was gonna kill a man today, and now I know who.
I like the energy.
Yeah. That.
No, I told him that I was going to kill a man on this date, not that I'm going to kill him today. It's completely different.
So,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh,
Clarity.
okay, so Gavigan, bad guy, presumably the guy who stole our stuff.
Presume.
About that.
Huh?
Well, I kind of about that.
Mhm.
It's not our stuff, but we're even.
Oh?
So I bring gifts. First, and he just the little vial hands it over to his wife.
Oh my god, you got me a is this human blood?
Now, I don't know if it's human, but I know it's ritualistic at the very least.
Oh my god! You're
And
so
then-
sweet!
Hold on, because I did a little bit of treasure hunting while I was in the Foundation. Found this very just piratey ornate chest. Opened it up and just
James
One of the
fucking
silver
O'Connell
daggers.
pulls out 2 silver daggers from his coat.
Oh my god, this is right when we were trying to hunt a werewolf! That's perfect!
isn't it? Twirls the knife in hand, hands her the hilt.
Oh my god! Oh my god, I love
Now
you
we
so
match.
much. She immediately just gives him a big old kiss.
Oh,
Aww.
Disgusting.
Adorable.
Get a room. I'm joking.
just
So,
fucking flips off. Just
Neil flips him off back. Doesn't even care. He's like smiling.
oh my god.
it's adorable.
Kid, why don't you ever get me files?
Anyway, so you acquired all this from said Penny Foundation, yeah.
James still in the middle of smooch, thumbs up, pulls back, Not just that. Got quite a bit more, actually. Someone here speaks Latin, right?
I know some Latin. I don't really speak it, but it was part of my medical training.
French?
Not French. I'm limited to English, Latin, and German.
German. Did we have something in German?
It was French, Latin, and English.
Then you have some scrolls that are in like Greek, Arabic, and Egyptian hieroglyphs.
Well, I can take a crack at anything Latin, but it would probably just take me a little bit of time.
Right. Well, I have a shit ton of what I assume to be very important scrolls that look ancient, as well as a few books that seemed fairly significant.
Yeah, which scrolls did you take, by the way? Sorry, because there was 15 scrolls. Like, there were the 10 that look... All of them? Or... just fucking drops a bunch of antique scrolls out in the ground. Jesus Christ.
He literally, he arm on shelf, shoved it all into the bag. So he just literally drops, like, scrolls on the table.
Fucking
and then
incredible.
3 big myth books.
How the fuck did you get out of that place with all this?
Oh, I wasn't caught.
Apparently, they only have 1 guard per night.
Otherwise, the place is empty.
It was also a secret room. Give me some fucking credit here. It was a secret chamber. Leave me alone.
The great voice in the sky tells me to tell you all that it was a secret room. I don't know if that message was meant for me.
I think that was meant for me, but you're right. You know, that secret voice must be how you know Atlantean.
Shut the fuck up, both of you.
James. What was your point of entry?
Say again?
What was your point of entry?
Rear yard, basement, stairs
it
going
locked?
down. No.
And all of this was in that.
Say again?
And all of this was in that.
Yes, in a secret room that was hidden behind a... Yes, it was a secret room and a maintenance room that didn't look like it was ever supposed to be seen. In fact, the room itself had a secret mechanized hatch that dropped down in the push of a button.
Ooh,
fancy.
Do any of the items have anything that I can use my Cthulhu Mythos roll for?
None of the things he brought back you can roll. The books you would have to possibly like skim read to possibly like glean if there's a chance of noticing them there, but like nothing that he brought back is going to prompt you a Cthulhu Mythos roll.
I just wanted to see if I could like try something because I have the highest Cthulhu Mythos right now.
Yeah, there's nothing of the stuff he brought back that is actually, let me double check something very quickly. You know what? Give me a Cthulhu Mythos roll skill, Mason. Just for the hell of it.
Hell yeah. Hold on, let me buy Mason, Tiberius, Allen, fucking Cthulhu Mythos. That's just service.
Okay, cool. Figured, but
nice.
palindrome. Yeah.
I want to use all my luck points. I'm kidding.
No. All right. And so James, do you also tell them about like all like aside from like the gear you found, like the various clues you also found in there as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything in the paperwork, the statues, which I grabbed one.
You did? You grabbed the... Which one did you grab?
The small box.
The jar. The jar. You had like the stone jar.
He picked it up, then put it back down. So he grabbed it, but then didn't take it with.
He didn't take it. But you also have. Did you take the ashes with you or no?
Yes.
Okay, so you have the jar of like powder with you, but you didn't. Yeah, you didn't take the statue. You picked it up, but you put it down. And you felt something weird.
Yeah, no,
when you
yeah, that's the thing. He was going to specify. It's like I grabbed one of them, and I felt something, and decided not to touch the other one.
So wait,
I don't know what that
did you
means.
take one of them, but just not take multiple, or?
So, here's the thing.
No,
though.
I didn't take either of the fucking statues.
Couple
Didn't
of
have the room.
points to bring up since James, you're regaling them. Mason, James does mention that he found like all this like various paperwork, one of which was like a receipt from a company called Ferris and Sons. You snap back to surveilling the Penny Foundation, seeing that Ferris and Sons truck show up at the Penny Foundation, load a crate, and then drive off somewhere. By this receipt that James found, actually seemingly where this truck was taking that shipment.
Haha! Mason regales that information.
Exactly. But then Kit, Sunil, Tarrant, and James. Wait, no, not James. Sorry, Mason, not James. James is not present for this. So James, you had found the receipt from regarding something called Henson Manufacturing in Derby. When Tarrant, Kit, Sunil, Mason. When James says Henson Manufacturing, you flash back to a couple nights ago in the seance parlor when you were speaking to the ghost of Jackson Elias. Among the things he said in his rambling incoherence was the name Henson. And that is where we are going to leave this week's episode of Call of Cthulhu, Masks of Nyarlathotep. We will see you right back here, same time, same place, for the continued adventures of the Disaster Gang. Until then, my friends, Cthulhu Fatagan.
Cthulhu Fatagan.